Hello everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. Where's my? I don't have a button to do that. I'll just press the button there. It's me. It's Andy, Decayed Andy, and we're with Big D today. Hello, Big D. Let's see if you're working. Nope. Let's change that. Discord. Is that what the ones? Please say something.
Hello.
Yep. There we go. Okay.
Hey.
It's because I was fiddling around with it for a repo. Because you need to do a little bit of fiddling so that you don't get dual audio for repoing with me and Daddy and Mr. Jason.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I've been watching so many people play Repo. It's great.
Yeah, it's pretty fun little game.
Haven't played it, but it's great to watch people play it.
You should come and play it with me and Daddy one night.
Oh my.
You don't have to. Yeah. The more people, the better. The further you can get in theory. In theory, it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes you get.
I've heard some people have gotten up to level 100, but it's just like an infinite loop. You don't actually finish the game.
Yeah, you just get more money and keep going.
Yeah. Which is fun in its own right.
I think it needs more more levels. Really, I think that would help. I think there are mods because I saw a mod today where they were playing on like a Minecraft level. I was like, oh, that's different.
Oh, okay, I know the mods are already just bonkers for it. It says loads of costume ones. There's ones that inevitably increase the lobby size, which bless them, the studio said, please ease off on those ones.
Yeah, it's like
because it burns the servers down. It's
like the Lethal Company ones. Because Lethal Company got a crap ton of upgrades and mods as well with it, if I remember correctly. I don't know about the other ones because there've been lots of other like that style of game. So I don't know how good the community is for like updating or modding all of those ones, if you know what I mean.
I get what you're saying
and whatnot. Maybe it's only the Lethal Company that is and Lethal Company and Repo that are deemed worthy enough to have the good stuff, or as many. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe I mean they both seem to have very quickly built up communities that are quite keen on just doing fun stuff in them, which is quite nice. And they're both still early access, aren't they? They're not actually full releases yet.
Let me check.
Are they? Or am I wrong on that score?
Lethal Company might be still quote unquote early access. Let's go to the store. Repo still classed as early access, it seems. Who's playing it? Oh, someone I don't know. But yeah, it's still classed as early access. I know that a new patch is coming up for it at some point. I don't know what it'll add. It might be one of those flat, kind of boring ones where they don't really add too much, or it might be one of the bit more expansive ones where they add, more levels and cosmetics and stuff like that. I don't know. More enemies.
Yeah. I need to do a bit more Dark Tide actually, because they've just got a new event started, and the endless mode is actually quite good fun. It's a good way to get some of your achievements done quick.
Oh, that's good. Me and Daddy were talking about the slow release schedule of like Space Marines 2's content, because they're just about to release a new update that has like one more level, I think. It's like
is that for that's the one for Trigon? Yeah.
Daddy was like, "What's that?" I was like, "Do you remember the Ravagers?" He was like, "Yeah, I hate them." And I went, "Yeah, it's a big one." I went, "Oh,
yeah."
Like, yeah.
I mean, it's nice that they're kind of they're not rushing everything out. They're taking their time. They seem to be dropping stuff quite a nice, consistent.
I think the issue is it's quite a slow release, and it's been a while since the last kind of new level or kind of new thing to introduce. They obviously keep updating with like a new weapon or like the mod skins for salamanders, space forces.
I'm generally surprised that they've not put in like either a chaplain or a librarian or even just a Terminator for the Marine player to play as.
Yeah, I'm guessing. But I don't know how you do a librarian. I think it'd be quite interesting to see how you do those kind of characters, but I think that would be a very big update.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine they'll do that when because you can't play a Thousand Sun sorcerer, can you?
No, you can play multiplayer, but only as like effectively cosmetic swaps. So you can play as a Rubric, but it doesn't mean anything. It's just you play as a Space Marine that looks like a Rubric gameplay wise.
Yeah, I imagine if they gave you the option to, if they did an Imperial Psyker, they'd probably pair that with the Chaos Psyker class to let you do that as a thing, which would probably be quite a sizable update in fairness in its own right, because of balance and stuff. But
they just need to get a few more things out. It's just a bit on the slow for releases, I would say.
It is, but I mean, it's only been out what, since November, October time?
I can't remember.
When did Station 2 drop?
Well, let's have a look, because I do have it. All right, Space Marine 2 came out September the 9th.
Yeah, so they seem to be doing a big-ish drop every 3 months or so at this rate.
So it says like season 3, which is 2025, which we're in. It says Data Vault. This was patch 6, whatever. Well, I guess that's coming out soonish. Data Vault, new PvP arena, Tyrannid Biovore. So this is the stuff we haven't seen yet because we haven't seen a Biovore. Absolute difficulty, so just in higher difficulties, who cares? New PvE mission, that's interesting. Custom PvP lobbies, that arguably should have been in the game way earlier. PvE prestige ranks, meh. You'll get a thing and it'll show off. New weapons. Raven Guard cosmetics, Salamander cosmetics, Space Wolf cosmetics, Imperial Fist cosmetics, and then in spring, they'll have a Horde mode finally. New enemy, doesn't really say what that means, whether that just means one enemy or a faction. I imagine just one more enemy. New weapons, so that's plural. New PvP game mode. I don't care about PvP. A new PvP arena. And then one chapter will receive a chapter pack. It just hasn't said what that is yet.
And they're burning through them quite quickly as well, the chapters. So
well, you don't want to hang around too long with that kind of stuff, I suppose. No. You want to get people's favorite factions out so they can... that's easy money as well, for the most part.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But if I had the game, which I don't at the moment, but it's on my want list, but that Space Wolf pack alone is getting me all hot and bothered because, well, I love my wolves.
You're like Griff, you just need a full new PC at this point, don't you?
I know. I was chatting to some of the guys on Beasts of War and Dead Discord on Thursday. Was Thursday night? Yeah, Thursday night for a hobby hangout. And one guy saying, "Yeah, my computer, I got it in 2019 and it's had its day." And I'm like, "I got mine in 2014."
Yours is basically an old man in a wheelchair on a ventilator at this point.
Well, mine's not had any hardware upgrades beyond drives in like 8 years.
Yeah, like I said, old man ventilator. Begging for death.
Yeah, I mean, I've spec'd some stuff up and I kind of know what I want, but it's expensive
it's money.
At this point.
Yeah. Because upgrading your PC is never fucking cheap, especially these days.
It feels like it isn't, but I've seen some good ones, so I kind of know what I want. It's just acquiring the monies to pay for it.
Yeah, so. I get you. Well, should we start the poop cast for realsies and talk about some fucking Transformers?
Oh, we probably should. That's probably why people are here, aren't they? Yeah.
In theory. Right, I'll play some music as I can barely breathe, and then we'll get to it, okay?
Excellent.
Music time.
Welcome to Moonbase 2.
And we're back. I couldn't hear the music at all, so I hope that played correctly. It was making sound, so hopefully you in the chat heard something. This is Moonbase 2. I'm Andy. We're with Big D. Hello, Big D.
Hey, guys.
It's been a couple of weeks. Last week, me and Big D were meant to do a show, but Big D decided to chew his tongue off. Not last week, the week before last. And then last week, I was fucking disgustingly ill and wanted to die. Which I haven't fully recovered from yet, as I'll be coughing through the show, which is why we're doing the news with Big D today to help me out.
Yeah, it's going to be fun because I have a lisp, you have a cough.
Mhm.
It's almost like the universe is trying to tell us not to go to Warhammer World.
Yeah, pretty much. I picked up COVID or the flu from Mr. Gruff or his wife or both of them. And it basically it plonked me out for an entire week. I was absolutely snookered. It was really shit. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't watch anything because I couldn't concentrate. I was just dead to the world, which was really annoying because I had some important business that I had to take care of as well, which I just couldn't do.
God.
You know when you get it's you're an adult when you're not looking forward to getting letters through the post, or when you do, you're like, is it a brown letter? And if it's a brown letter, it's business. And it's always shitty business. You're like, oh, for fuck's sake, here comes a brown envelope. Here we go.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I managed to explode one of my molars whilst eating nuts in Bugman's bar, which is certainly a phrase I'd never thought I'd say in my life.
No, it's a bit of a surprise.
And promptly sliced my tongue on the shards. So that's been exciting.
Yeah, fun times. I've still not completely gotten over my illness, as you'll hear me coughing. And it seems that I can only do a certain amount of like physical walking around before I start getting the cold sweats and start feeling a little bit woozy still, which is really annoying because I can get stuff done if I push myself, but I'm like, I'm starting to feel a bit weird now.
Yeah, it's never fun when you're like that because you feel like you just need to push yourself out a little bit more to get it done, and then you do that, and you wipe yourself out again for another day or two, which is
it's really annoying because it's not that bad. I can like push through it, but it's that weird feeling where you're like, this isn't my usual norm. This is annoying.
Yeah, it's not fun to say the least.
One of those things. But we're talking about Transformers today. You and I actually have the exact same Transformers to talk about this week, which is kind of funny.
Yes, we do. It's great.
Except you've got an upgrade kit for yours, and mine's just the basic version. But we'll get onto that. We're going to start off, even though we've missed like 2 weeks of news or more. There's not a lot that's happened, but we can kick off with the first bit of kind of non-Transformer toy news. It's the Transformers, the official movie soundtrack has a limited, in quotations, Unicron marbled vinyl. I don't really know what it means by Unicron marbled, apart from I guess done something to the actual vinyl. So let's read the thingy. This is a new repress of the classic G1 animated movie soundtrack, this time on Unicron-themed marble vinyl. I don't know what that means. Read the details below. It's a 180-gram audiophile vinyl. Is that normal?
I think
that has to be normal, right? Like, why would they? Like, I can't imagine it's heavier than a standard vinyl, right?
I mean, I think there are grades of vinyl. Like, some do give you a slightly better sound, but
based on their weight,
it's the durability of the material. I think I'm not all that au fait with vinyl, to be honest. So I could
a hipster. That's fair enough.
No.
Okay, that's
my
fine.
dad still has a massive vinyl collection. I've never touched it in my life. So.
It says it's got a deluxe sleeve finish with linen laminate. Okay, and the soundtrack to the 1986 movie featuring Stan Bush. Who fucking sings the song. You know.
Yeah.
It's limited edition to 4,000 individually numbered copies on Again, this Unicron marbled vinyl, I guess, is a really big deal. It's released at the movies label. What the fuck is that? Let's click on it.
28 euros ain't bad.
It's 28 euros or £21. It's coming out May the 2nd, so that's next month?
That's next week. That's first Friday.
Yeah, so it's out real soon. If you want free shipping, you're going to have to spend a bit more. But okay, so all at the movies shop is an actual place. It's a store. It's the name of the store. It's also available for pre-order on Amazon, Deep Discount, which is another site, I guess, Zia Records. But from there, they're $34.99 or $41 Canadian, or maybe it's just different price depending on the place you get it from.
That sounds like what they're doing.
Probably. And I guess on those places, instead of it being on the 2nd, it's on the 9th of May. So I guess if you want to get it direct from At The Movie label, you can get it earlier and cheaper. If you want to get it through Amazon, you can get it that way as well.
I mean, that's the At The Movie's price seems quite reasonable, to be honest, especially for a limited edition vinyl.
Yeah, no,
even the higher price for the other sites, that's not, to my eye, what I'd call a deal breaker, to be fair, for a collectible
for a vinyl
edition.
Yeah. Granted, I don't know, the usual prices for vinyls in all honesty, but it's like, fine, yeah, that sounds okay, not great, but fine. I'm still not sure what this Unicron marbled stuff they're talking about is, because it just looks like a golden disc that's a little bit dirty.
Well, that's the thing. I saw it and I thought, I didn't even see the thing about Unicron vinyl. I just thought, so they're doing a golden disc edition, are they?
Apparently not.
To mimic. When you do it, it's like, it's Unicron marbled. Oh,
I don't know why they call it Unicron marbled either. Like, I get it's kind of marbled because you can see like slightly darker lines through it, which I don't think really makes it look any better.
Honestly,
really.
Those just look like it's dirty.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like 100%. A marbling effect.
No.
It looks like the pictures are just bad.
Yeah,
rather than to. But
if you want to be generous, you could say that, like you say, it's the photos are not capturing the effect too well.
Yeah.
If you want to be critical, you could say, well, these are the advertisement images. They should be showing it in its best light. So it'd be kind of weird to show it just looking dirty. Big D, you said you're not much of a vinylator, right?
No, but it's nice that they've done this new edition. Yeah, it's limited, but it's an option for folks, and it's not badly priced either. If you're a tragically hipster Transformers fan who can't get enough of vinyl, well, you now have the definitive soundtrack available in a nice new edition. So
I think even making it limited to 4,000 is pretty generous, right? Because I would imagine if people wanted a vinyl version of the movie soundtrack, it's been out before. I can't remember the last vinyl release there was for this movie track, but I wouldn't say it would have been super hard to get then. So 4,000, I think that's a fairly safe number to go for.
Yeah, and like we say, it seems to be priced to move, so it's not outrageously priced. Yeah,
you could, and if you wanted to, you could probably maybe say the audio thing is the best thing about the movie. Like, it's a really quality 80s romp. If you don't like 80s music, then you're not going to like it. But if you like Rocky's soundtrack and stuff, you should really enjoy the Transformers soundtrack.
Yeah, I mean, it's full of 80s power rock.
Yeah, and synth. Lots of synth. Synth out the ass. Yeah. Anything else you want to say on this, Big D, or should we move on?
I think we can move on.
All right. Next up, we have the Big Mac toys, the BIG-01. I talked about this last time. I talked about the news. It was in silhouette. This time we have a colored rendered image. So for those not aware, this is a Fortress Maximus toy, a big version of him, because he stands, as the story says here, an impressive, I would say, unnecessarily large, 76 centimeters tall. Could you fit one in your place, Big D? Of course you couldn't.
No, I can't fit for Tyson's class one I have at the moment. He's in the box, so
not many normal people could fit something this big in their home. But
that's only 76 centimeters. That's not that big.
It's only 76 centimeters.
I mean, that's barely the length of my leg.
Yeah, you are very small, as Treebeard would say. You are very small. I will say that it doesn't really look like it does anything particularly special. It feels like its selling point is that it's big. Otherwise, it seems like a pretty standard flat rendition of the G1 toy. It looks like I'd argue a better version of the Titans class figure.
That's what I was going to say, actually. Looking at all the pictures, it seems like it's a more complete version. It's a Titans Return version, but with all the stuff from all the upgrade kits added in and all the extra gubbins.
Yeah, but effectively just the G1 figure with articulation.
Yeah.
They do have like little advertisement stickers over the face, so we don't know how good the face sculpt is or anything like that. But you can see that it looks like the fingers will be mostly posable. Like I can't tell if each knuckle in the finger can bend, but I assume they probably can.
You'd expect so, especially if it's coming with the gun. So
yeah, I think so. He's got all the features the G1 toy did, which is the guns on his the backs of his hands, and then the guns on his forearms. He's got the big cannons coming out of his torso as well. It looks like they don't swing out like they did on the G1 toy. It looks like they'll have a bit more of an intricate way of them coming out. Oh, he doesn't. I wasn't sure about this when I first talked about it. I wondered if he would have the penis crank. It looks like he does have the penis crank, but there's nothing jutting out there. It's the red dot is there.
The big red dot.
Yeah. If you remember on the G1 toy, that was a crank. I assume you'll be able to turn it and it'll still work, but there's not a protruding little handle to grab onto to twirl around and around and around. What do you think of this, Big D? What do you think it's good?
I do like how it looks. I need to see what the price is like, to be fair.
Yeah, 76 centimeters, so it's going to be pretty expensive, I would imagine, right?
But I do like how it looks. It is very G1. It's basically a very nice articulated version of the G1 design. The city modes, all three of them, actually look real nice, very clean. But they've gone to the length so that the hands do seem to fold away and compress up. The feet have basically all the stuff that you remember from the animation model for Max in the different shows as a kid and the comics, the stuff that they couldn't really translate properly to the toy. They seem to have put it in, so it's got hatches in the feet that open up, which is nice. It just, like you say, it looks like a much more complete version of the character.
Do you think this is what we should have had from the Titans Return version?
I'm thinking so. This looks like in a way, I'm wondering if this might. They might even not. It does look like it is just a much nicer take on what we had at Titans Return, because that was just a reskin of Metroplex.
And not a very good one either.
Yeah, and has a lot of flaws. There's a reason.
Yeah.
If you want him to look decent, you normally have to drop an extra 150 quid on the DNA upgrade kits for it.
Mm-hmm. And they're pretty expensive as well, right?
Yeah, they're going for like 60 quid a pop, and you need two of those.
Yeah, so 120.
Which is not a fun experience when you've already dropped that much on the figure.
Yeah, because that figure was like 200, I guess.
When it came out,
maybe cheaper, actually.
I think I got him
150.
The SD
120.
120, yeah, the SDCC version. Because I pre-ordered it from A1 Toys at Rollout Roll Call the year it released or the year it launched. So they were taking pre-orders.
Yeah, I was trying to remember because at that point they were not unreasonably priced, which I feel Titans Class has become very much unreasonably priced. So 120 for it, okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I remember that because I was thinking, can I do it? And I had just enough kind of spare on I could justify it. So I went, you know what, frag it, let's whack the deposit down and pay it, get one of these ordered. But no, I do like that. I want to see the price though. Like you say, it's not going to be cheap given how big it is.
I would suspect 300 to 400, maybe more.
Maybe yeah, because there's a lot of articulation in this thing as well. There's a lot of. It's nice that the features are there.
Parts.
It's big, lots of parts. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I'll be surprised if it even does come with the head.
I think it will.
It'll be nice if they do, but we've seen it before. A lot of companies like to do these characters. If they have a head, then they'll do it separately, partly to make the budget stretch so they can.
I haven't seen that. Who's done that? What company's done
who
that?
have I seen it with? I'm sure I've seen at least one other Fort Max figure do it, and possibly a Scorponok.
Was it Fans Toys? Because I could see Fans Toys maybe doing it, but that
can't
would be
remember
about
enough.
it.
And I feel I might be getting myself confused, but I'm sure I've seen at least one third-party company do something similar to that.
I can't recall myself, but I'm not saying you're incorrect. It's just I think that would be a really hard sell to try and get people to buy effectively a Fort Max body without the head. That'd be crazy.
Yeah,
it could happen though, I suppose. But yeah, Fort Max, he's coming. They also show with the head, even though they are covering it up for legal reasons, which is why they're doing it.
Yeah.
This is Big 01, so I wonder if the rest of the big series, if this does well enough, will just kind of progress through the Titans class figures and maybe make not shit versions of them, because a not shit Metroplex would not be amiss. That could be okay.
I mean, I'd be interested if this does well from them and they're able to carry on with it. Yeah, let's see what they can do, because I mean, I think there's a market for it because, like you say...
Yeah, people love big things.
Yeah.
Axel Sedge says, I have the Titans Return Fort Max, and I like him. I feel people hate on it too much because the legs couldn't transform into the G1 City mode. The issue was it was a not great resculpt of a pretty already mediocre Titans figure, which was the Metroplex. Like, that was not a good Metroplex figure. I remember when Dave got it, I was like... I didn't feel jealous about not having it. And then when I saw the Metro, the first one I was disappointed I didn't get was Scorponok, and that was because I bought it, but it was missing a piece. It was missing the big gray panel on the back. One of the big bits that fills in the gaps and stuff.
Yeah, that's a hefty piece to be missing as well.
So it's like I tried to get them to send me a spare piece, and they were just like, no. Amazon was just like, you'll need to just return it to us, and I was like, oh fuck. And after that, it was when it was on a sale as well. So I got it for like 70 or something, and then I was like, oh, I'm not going out of my way to get a fully expensive one. You lost me.
I can understand that.
Yeah. It was annoying. Either way, let's move on to Dr. Wu doing the DW-ES05 Cyber Crate and the ES06 Cyber Dump Truck. You might be surprised to know that these are the Constructicons to go along with their other ES series. So these are the Micromaster scale versions of Hook and Longhaul in Cybertronian form, specifically, not anything else. So they're to go along with the Dreamwave War Within comic design. Each one is going to be 5.6 centimeters tall. And they can combine into Devastator, because of course they can. According to some responses on Weibo, the combiner mode should be 13 centimeters tall. These figures follow the previous release, EO3 and EO4. It doesn't say EO1 or 2, but whatever.
Yeah.
They're probably the last ones to be released, or some other woo-woo, I suppose. So, what do you think? They are Cybertronian versions, so Longhaul looks like a dump truck missing its front, I suppose. I think Hook doesn't look too bad as his Cybertronian sort of crane mode. That's okay.
Yeah.
And for Micromasters, they're fine. They're okay.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of dig these. I mean, I remember the War Within. I've got a soft spot for the War Within designs as a whole, anyway, because I think there was some nice pastiches in there of taking characters and extrapolating what they would have looked like at a period where we'd never seen it before. It was novel, and it just got more fun over the course of the 2 and a bit mini-series, seeing more and more characters show up and seeing what they look like. But these are quite nice interpretations for. I said, for Micromaster scales, they're tiny.
Yep.
But for all that, the fact that they do actually combine and they're forming a decent old sized Devastator. I mean, 13 centimeters is not massive, but it's decent for a combiner of this
scale. Do you remember how big the 6? What were they called? The 6 jet 6-wing combiners were from Japan? Do you remember how tall they were?
I don't.
They couldn't have been much taller than 13 centimeters, right?
No, most Micromaster size combiners have always pretended. You've got limited options in terms of what they can do.
Yeah,
because of how small they are anyway.
Yeah,
but these look fine.
I'm just trying to scale in my mind, like how big are these compared to kind of those old school G1 combiners. Well,
Yeah, but
MicroMaster.
you know, Doctor Who's also got a fairly decent rep from my experience anyway, of their stuff being just decent all round.
Yeah. Now, granted, I don't know much about the MicroMaster scaled stuff, and I think they stick a little bit too close to just doing like standard G1 characters at a MicroMaster scale, where obviously I'd prefer them to do MicroMasters, but you know, I as I've said many times before, they wouldn't sell because like who really cares about Big Daddy? Not many people. Not in terms of like a marketable. I can sell this. There are people that do care about him. Yeah, like the sports car team, the military team. Like there are people that like these guys, but enough to buy them. And then enough people that would want to buy them? Yeah, I don't know.
The Venn diagram is very small for that.
Yeah, now Hasbro has no reason why they shouldn't be trying this thing. They're a big company, right? They've got no excuses for not like trying to do new things to expand the business. But third parties, obviously, they're for a very dedicated audience. So, but no, these look okay. They look neat. XL says I had to double take because I thought Andy said there was a transforming Cybertruck. No, unfortunately, that would be pretty cool. I'd like to see like Transformers Tesla Cybertruck. I think that could work quite well, to be honest. As long as you didn't make it a shell former, which could be quite easy to do, as long as you have it try to actually transform, that could be quite cool.
But wouldn't it be funny if it was a shell former and the panels all just exploded off it?
I mean, I wouldn't be against it. To be fair, I think it's always been a shame that Hasbro hasn't done I say this, but I know it's because Hasbro would do a bad job at it. Like the Warthog from Halo. Because the Warthog and the Cybertruck, to me, have a very similar almost kind of shape, and I think a crossover Halo Warthog figure would be quite neat. But then I remember the G.I. Joe crossover figures are shit, and there are a lot of other crossover figures that aren't very good. There are some that are good, but I think there are a lot that aren't very good. I'll never forget that what's it called? Maverick, Goose, Top Gun shit.
Yeah,
that's why it was.
Yeah.
That
Shocking.
Well, speaking on small things, as I die, New Age are doing the H969, nice, William, which is a Legend Sunstreaker variant. It's the white version. There's William, and there's also another two decos, which are the 69P Vice, which is the Diaclone-inspired Condor deco with toy-inspired head and a new light bar in alt mode, including a gun and arm blaster. And then there's the 69R Cole, which is the Diaclone-inspired Spin-Out, which is a different one, with a toy-inspired head and includes a gun and blaster arm as well. So it's the white one. I don't know why is it called William? New variant of their William. Oh, William Sunstreaker, and these are the variants of the William figure. Okay, so what do you think of white Sunstreaker? Is that?
Oh no, best spin out and cord, and it's the inevitable repaints of Sunstreaker into his Cyclone colours.
Sorry, you know what? The first image of Vice, does the light bar look real to you? It is real when you go through the images, but when you look at that first image,
it does look a bit stuck on, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks like a sticker.
Or they've just taken a bit of Photoshop and just gone, but they haven't adjusted to the angle.
Yeah, it looks like a flat image. Maybe it is for this one, but they do show the real light bar on the vehicle mode at least. But yeah, hang on.
Oh wait, he's got a faux chest. That's why.
Oh, so it isn't real. Oh, I don't know if I like that. Ooh, I don't think I like that. Maybe it is a sticker because there's an image of the front of it without the light bar on as well. Ooh, I don't like that.
Oh yeah, that's For a minute, I thought it might actually they've retooled the faux chest, so it's got like a little recess for it. To mimic it, but no, they haven't. That is just
a sticker, I guess. Something, or he's got two chests. I don't think he's got two chests. So that's
really weird.
So what do you think about the fake light bar chest?
I mean, that's a choice. God, I hope whoever did that Photoshop has had a bit of a slap around the ear roll, because damn,
that might not be a Photoshop, I suppose.
it might
right?
not. It might not, could it? Yeah, that could be the legit thing, which is
Look at your Dino King figure, who we're going to be talking about later. Imagine Kakarayu's Triceratops head just flat. That's the same feeling I get when I look at this. It's like I'd like that to protrude a bit.
It stands out. It really does.
Yeah, it's so weird. The head sculpt's quite nice, though. It is the
little smirk, which is quite fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually like the deco, but it's not a pure white. It's more of an off grey that they seem to have gone for. Or at least that's how it looks in the pictures.
No, I think you're right. I think that is probably what they've gone for. I don't think he was a pure white, whatever car he's meant to be.
Yeah, but it works for the layout they've gone for the colours, which is
ooh, you know what? It's
nice.
almost it's a lighter version of Dawnstone.
Yes, yeah.
You add some white to Dawnstone, and that's
actually,
what it is.
I think that reads to me like it's Apothecary White.
Oh, the contrast. Yes, yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, at least that's how it looks when it's in the pot. It never looks like that when you put it on the model. But
no, it doesn't.
Yes, yeah. Otherwise, I 100% agree. And the red version is the red version.
I mean, that does look tasty. That red, all those reds, the different reds they've used across it.
Yeah, and they've used them in good places as well. So he's got like a, I don't know, pure red on his like shins and below the knee, but then he's got like this corn red from knee upwards to groin, and then he's got that red as well for the bicep and the hand, but then a bit more of the cherry for the chest. So it's not haphazard where, you know, when we talk about like bumblebees and they have the painted yellow and it's very it's an ugly contrast. This isn't an ugly contrast. It looks like it's been deliberately done to kind of try and break it up a bit.
Because they've gone for that darker red for all the obviously robotic bits, whereas for car mode is just that solid, gorgeous red color, which translates across to the panels of the robot mode, which is, that is quite tasty. And the little bit of goldish yellow they put as the spot color in the head and for the eyes and for the vents. I dig that. That's actually, but for 2, I think Cole sells it for me. That I like what Vice does, but that sticker is
whatever it is.
Yeah. Cole though, that looks good.
I would mostly agree. I've never been a fan of the Diaclone colors because they always feel a bit on the flat side in some ways, because it is just usually one flat color swap to another. But I think they're done effectively, apart from Vice's weird sticker or, like you said, Big D, recessed thing. Either way, it looks weird as fuck. But I'm sure we'll be getting more Legend Sun streakers in the future. Probably at least a Shattered Glass one, I guess, unless one of these is meant to be.
Have New Age done side swipes yet?
No.
Because I imagine if they've done streaker, side swipe can't be far down the pipe, because then you've got all of his repaints as well for them to dip into.
Yeah, I'm gonna say they haven't, because I think I would have remembered talking about a G2 one with like a bandolier and stuff, and I don't think that's happened yet.
No, it hasn't. So. It's kind of because we know that New Age do love a figure with lots of repaint potential.
Oh, I mean, don't worry, they're getting there. It's they're just really slowly going through characters, because whenever they do one figure, it's like 5 of the repaints have to come out before the next one.
And honestly, I know we rag on them before, but it's fun because all their repaints, they do generally seem to, in spite of Vice's weird chest sticker thing, I know we've had issues sometimes with some repaints, but technically they're actually normally all well executed.
Yeah, it's just how appealing are they?
Yeah,
that's what I usually comes down to.
But they do provide a big range of variety for the customer base. So if you can't find a version of a character in New Age's lineup, I'd be very surprised. It's probably because they haven't done the base mold yet.
Yeah, for the most part, they cover every variant mostly.
Yeah, so. It's nice to see them do it, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Vice looks in hand. So,
well, sticking on the New Age bandwagon, the H27U David, their Optimus Prime, is having the Energon Universe version, which I think I've talked about before. So it is the Optimus Prime, but it's the new comic version, the Skybound version, where he's got the Megatron arm. So with this version, we have the Megatron right arm, and it includes his blaster, 6 interchangeable hands, the Matrix, a battle damage head, and a blue Energon axe. Is that accurate? Does he have a blue Energon axe?
Yeah, I think his axe is blue in the comic, yeah.
Huh. Otherwise, it is the same David figure. It's just got these differences. Obviously, the hands are in blue for his Optimus Prime side, and then black for the Megatron arm side. The actual color scheme's quite nice because it's kind of muted on him a little bit. And I like the battle damage head, which I'm sure is a re-release from another thing. I think the integration of the Megatron arm is a little bit cleaner than we've seen on other versions that have attempted this, where it's stuck out a little bit more. Where this one's actually mushed into the vehicle mode reasonably well. What do you think about this, Big D? Do you like it? I mean, it's not much of a change, to be honest. But
no, I do dig it though. I like like I say, it's more muted. They've pulled a lot of the colors from how he looks in the comic. That integration of Megatron's arm, especially into the alt mode, is really smooth. And because we have seen some apps. And honestly, a lot of the version we've seen so far have been upgrade kits to existing figures. So
yeah,
trying to retro engineer something's always tricky. This, as they've designed it to fit the figure specially. It flows better. It looks like he does in the comic. The battle damage head is a nice touch. The fact they've given you the hands in 2 different colors. To match both sides, that's something that could easily have been missed or skipped entirely. It's not a given, but yeah, I dig that. That's cool. I mean, I said before, I have a little bit of a soft spot for the current run of the comic. I've stuck with it, and I'm enjoying the beats they've hit on so far. It's not everyone's taste, but I actually do like how this element has been taken forward so far in the book, and this looks good. I dig it.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, it's another way to get another version of an Optimus Prime figure out for New Age. So why not do it? All they had to do really was build a new arm and make it compatible with the vehicle mode. So
yeah, and you know what?
Mostly,
and they didn't have to do what they did for Deco. This could have just been the basic David figure, same colors all over, just with a new arm. But they didn't. They've actually they've given it a fresh deco. Yeah. That's admirable.
Well, it's something, at least. It's something a little bit more. I don't think it would have cost them anything extra to do it, but yeah.
Probably not, but it's a step that some companies wouldn't have gone to.
No, I agree. So, next up we have Fans Hobby have shown colored prototypes of the MB32 Transformers Master Force Metal Hawk, I'll say Pretender figure. So, Fans Hobby bring us another great rendition of the Master Force characters, or a Master Force character. This time we have a promising cartoon-accurate rendition of the first Autobot command in Master Force cartoon. We have images in robot mode and alt mode, plus the additional Pretender armor parts. So it's not a separate mode, it is parts that you add on to make him the Pretender shell, which is probably the best way you can do it, to be honest.
It's the best compromise you can go for. And
yeah, unless you just do 2 figures where you have Metal Hawk and then you have Metal Hawk, the Pretender shell, is a separate action figure. According to a message from Fans Hobby, this figure should be released by the end of May or the beginning of June of this year. So let's start off with the Metal Hawk figure himself. The first image is blurry for some reason, and they've got the focal point on the sword, which isn't desperately good, but I think comparing this to, say, the Hasbro version, this one looks a lot more accurate to how he did in the show. It's very clean and simple lines. I almost feel that he needs like a Gundam panel liner ran over him, because I can see bits of detail there just obscured by the denseness of the plastic. And usually I don't care about needing a wash over a Transformer, but for some reason he looks very, very flat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. There's enough going on here that it does feel like it needs a little extra step to help some of those panels pop a bit more to get that cartoon vibe going more than they have done. Yeah. I mean, it's a lovely design though. I mean, it looks like as close to the animation model of the character as you're going to get in toy form.
Yeah, they actually managed to get the kind of weirdly lanky look to him, which he obviously had in the show. And I think that's really hard to pull off, especially when you have them as a Transformer as well. We're not going to talk about the shell just yet. Can we see the vehicle mode? There's the vehicle. And the vehicle mode looks like shit. But that's fine. The vehicle mode's meant to look like shit.
It did, and it looks exactly like it does in the cartoon.
Yeah, it looks like shit. Yeah. It's better than the original. It's better than the original toy. I know that's not a high watermark, but it looks more intricate than that. So
yeah, absolutely, it does. Yeah. So
I think though, for the amount of transforming you probably do, it might be, obviously I don't have this in hand, it might be over engineered, because you know how this is obviously meant to be a very simple transformation, basically a GoBot transformation, right? In a lot of ways. I think this would not be super quick, just because fans hobby do make intricate transformations, or can do. So I wonder if they overcomplicated it, or if it's still relatively easy to do the transformation, if you know what I mean. It's hard
it looks
to say,
like they've got I think they've got a bit of faux parts going on with, or parts forming with the gun weapon that looks like it forms a chunk of the rear of the jet mode.
Oh yeah, I imagine that's just a separate thing.
So that, I mean, overall, I mean, the arms look like they still rotate around to the back and compress to form the engine intakes.
See, so I imagine the fiddly bit would probably be getting the legs to compress, depending on how they've done the compression tech. That can either be really nice and smooth, or it can be lots of panel foldy and
those legs, barring the fins that are folded up on the side, those are very clean looking legs. So they kind of scare me slightly, you know.
Yeah, I could see that.
But they could just be, but equally they could just be really simple. That they just crack open, fold up, and Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, obviously
it's one. Yeah, it's one where I would really like to see how it looks, though.
Yeah,
because I mean, looking at the jet, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if the legs concertina down in some way. So
it's just how is it on like a joint that swings down? Because again, like I say, it depends. Because sometimes the way that leg compression works in Transformers can be really nice and smooth, or then it can be a little bit more faffy and fiddly. I say that with the Iron Factory figures of Lio Kaiser in front of me. Their legs compress, but it's not always the smoothest transformation of doing it, unfortunately. So what do you think about the parts to make him his Pretender shell? Because you get shin armor, the arms look like they're untouched, you get a groin kind of skirt, a chest panel, either helmet that goes over the top of his head, or a new head which you'll pop off. I don't know which. And I think that's it.
It looks like, I mean, it works. It gets the look across quite well. For how the characters looked, how the Pretender shell looked in the show. Much better than the original toy did, even, for that matter. I mean, it still has the cold, dead eyes of the toy. So.
Yes, yeah.
Which is a shame. But, again, if you're after a Metal Hawk for your collection, and especially if you're... This is Masterpiece scale, isn't it?
Yes, if I remember correctly, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, if you want something to go alongside your MPG Jinrai, this is probably about as good as you're going to get.
Yeah, because there's not a huge amount of options for Pretender Metal Hawk.
No,
in any form.
Yeah, so I do like this. If I was a Masterpiece collector, I'd probably pop a pre-order in for one of these because I do like how it looks.
See, for me, there's just something about the Pretender shell that just looks slightly off. And I think it's the face sculpt.
Yes, the face for me is... I almost want to say it could just do with a wash to bring it down, because it's far too baby pink, and the eyes just...
It almost looks like, to me, that if you look at his chin... If you strip the color off of his face and painted it like a metallic color, it would look just like a robot face, because it almost looks like he's got that protruding robotic, jutting out chin. Trying to think like almost like a goatee beard kind of robot face. But like you say, the eyes don't help either. There's just something that's not quite right about it.
Yeah,
but I think this is, again, it's probably the best rendition that I can think of, because the last time Hasbro did, the only time, Hasbro never did Pretender Metal Hawk. They did, it was the Collectors Club that did it.
Well, no, they did Pretender Metal Hawk, they did as one of the Prime Masters.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so you can have Metal Hawk.
You didn't really need to worry about how good it looked, because of how small it was.
It didn't do anything.
It didn't have a face either, did it? It didn't have a human face. No. It just had like a hole where you could see the actual Titan Master's head through it. That's right.
Yeah, those were weird figures, weren't they?
Yeah.
Fun, but very weird.
They transform into quote-unquote weapons, which is like, did they though? Yeah. And the Titan Masters didn't really do anything, because they didn't look like anything, so they didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
Weird line, man.
XL Hedge says, so when's G2 Prime with green and purple camo arm? Oh, that would be an interesting idea. Do the Shattered Glass version and do him with a white Megatron arm.
No, you do the G2 black Optimus Prime cab, and you give him G2 Megatron's purple and green camo arm.
Okay.
Because I think what XL Hedge is saying. But you know what? That could be quite fun.
I mean, why not, right? Why not do it? You could, if they wanted to, New Age could do that for like a convention exclusive, because then they don't need to produce that many of them. Make like a 300 or something. You could sell it at a con. If
that was at a con, that would sell the fuck out.
Yeah, especially if there's only 300, because people buy just because it's a con exclusive or just for the rarity's sake. It's like,
yeah. But it's also sort of repaint that is just fun enough that it will tickle us enough other folks who go, you know what, I want those.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, another thing I'll say about Metal Hawk is, I think the problem with doing these guys first is the human Pretenders all look kind of wank. I'd be more interested to see how they do Blood and some Marauder, those guys.
Yeah, the Decepticon Pretenders were always the coolest, weren't they?
Yeah, because they looked weird, but they were monsters, so your brain just went, well, yeah, they will look weird, they're monsters. Yeah,
actually, you know what really bugs me about Metal Hawk? His face looks too young.
Metal Pretender Shell or Metal Hawk?
The Pretender Shell. Because Metal Hawk was supposed to, and also a bit too just, there's just nothing in there.
No.
The expression has nothing going on. So Metal Hawk's supposed to be this stoic. He's the leader of his mission who's been undercover for literally millennia on Earth. Pretty much cut off and alone. And
I guess you could still say he's meant to be quote unquote young, because old for Japan is like 25 or before 30. Like, he'd be ancient if he was 30 by Japanese standards, especially for like kids shows. So he's probably in his 20s.
Yeah, you reminded me of the fact that in Gundam, a lot of the notable Zeon villains, like Rumbarul, who's this legendary warrior who looks older than me.
40, right?
Not even that, he's like 32 or 35 in the cartoon when he dies.
What?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, what happened to Rambaral? I wondered why. I know, right? I always assumed he was like 60 and he had like a 25-year-old wife.
Exactly. And then how they've done him in the Origin cartoon, he looks right. He looks like he looks appropriate to what you'd expect. And then you see him in the actual cartoon and just like, this is like 6 months later, dude, what the fuck happened to you?
War is hell. I don't know what to tell you. War is hell, even if you've got a goof. Let's move on to Transformers MDLX. They're doing a new figure for their big, fancy, expensive line from 3-0. This time, it is the man who loses his mind frequently and has schizophrenic delusions, I guess.
Panic attacks and
Panic attack. Yeah. He should not be a medical proficient person, that's for sure. I wouldn't want this guy.
Isn't he supposed to be a security chief?
Is that what he is?
Yes, he's. You don't want him in a position of having to deal with any sort of emergency.
No, you want him in a room with like a fish, tending the fish, and even then, maybe that's too much for him. It's Red Alert. So the Red Alert figure is on pre-order for the 29th of April. So that's only like 2 days from now, right?
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Soon. It'll be at 9 a.m. HKT, which I guess is Hong Kong time. That makes sense. At the 3-0 store, the 3-0 T-Mall, whatever that is, and the select distribution partners worldwide, and planner for release by the fourth quarter of 2025. So I guess pre-orders will be up, and then near the end of the year-ish, you'll be pooping out. So let's see the deets. The details is he stands about 15 centimeters tall, not that big. Especially when you compare him to the Micromaster Devastator we talked about earlier, who's only 2 centimeters smaller than him.
Yeah, that's not that large, is it?
I think this is their smaller line, because I'm pretty sure they had a big line and then they had the smaller line. I guess this is the smaller line. It's got 40 points of articulation. Red Alert features a newly sculpted head, redesigned leg parts. So he's obviously based off of another figure that they've released, probably Sideswipe, I would imagine, but they've redesigned.
Yeah, there's a shot of them back to back in later on. Okay,
I haven't scrolled down to that, but yeah, he's got the distinctive fire department decals, obviously. Also, the showcase finely detailed paintwork and precision panel lining. And realistic mechanical textured finish, paying homage to the classic design. So he's got panel lining and he looks fancy. There you go.
Yeah.
Does it say anything else?
Do they mention the 2 explosions they've designed to go on his head?
No, oddly enough, they don't mention his accessories.
So I think they're supposed to represent.
It's from that one episode where he loses his fucking mind and Starscream's like, "But I'm your friend," and he's like, "Oh,
yeah,
help me, I'm dying." It's from whatever that episode was.
Yeah, it's a choice.
That's the episode where you needed Brawn to slap this guy and say, "Stop being such a fucking pussy," or like Cliffjumper calls him a traitor. Where were those guys?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they even have the image of Starscream being like, "Don't worry, Red Alert, go and kill your friends, bro." And he's like,
It just feels so weird that they have those effects part, but the head sculpt, there's no alternate face.
Yeah, he needed like a crazy face, right?
Yeah, one to show him in some sort of distress, but he's just bland.
Yeah, it's almost
weird.
a smile. It's like when you're depressed, when someone's like, "So, how are you feeling?" and you just kind of slightly smile and you're like, "I'm fine." He's got that kind of smile. Not like you say, like he's in massive psychological distress, which is more appropriate for that face, I would agree.
And it's a shame because I actually like a lot about how this figure looks otherwise. It actually, I don't know about you, but that's a really nice deco. The panel lining is crisp. The decal or the detailing, the fire department stuff is all really nice and spot on.
Yep.
And then they've kind of done half a gimmick.
Yeah.
I mean, we get what they're going for, but it just needed that extra part.
Yeah, he needed just like a removable head. Maybe it's just too hard to make like head poppy off gimmicks for these things. I don't know. I can't remember if the other one. I'm pretty sure the other ones don't have like face swap gimmicks. I'm not sure if they have head swap gimmicks, but in terms of accessories, Red Alert comes with his red gun, his shoulder gun, the explosions Big D mentioned, a light bar that isn't a sticker, so that's something. It's real. He also comes with a piston pick pile driver thingy that it's a leftover from Red Alert, effectively. And then he also comes with a piston meat musher thing, to pound the meat. So I guess if you get both this one and Red Alert, you can have both hands with these accessories rather than just one. If
I guess.
And then in terms of hands, he has holdy things hands, closed fists, completely hands, and I guess open hands as well.
I think so.
Yeah, some open hands. Yeah. So he doesn't come with a lot, but these figures are meant to just be relatively cheap. I say that because these like $80, so it's not super cheap, but relatively cheap for the line, I guess, because they're not those super cheap ones. It's not like a Flame Toys figures where they're going to get super expensive. I'm not sure how big of a seller Red Alert will be because it's Red Alert.
Yeah.
Red Alert's very much a character where you go, it's Red Alert, isn't it?
He's the inevitable Sideswipe repaint that everyone expects to turn up sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it's like Skids. I don't think anyone gets excited for Skids. Hoist. Does anyone really get excited for Hoist? Like, there are specific characters in Transformers where I look at them and I go, I don't hate that they exist, but they're very much a background character. Red Alert feels like that.
He does. So, he's a character flaw waiting for an episode to showcase it.
Yes. He's that one episode and then nothing else. But then again, I guess you could argue that a lot of Transformers are one episode and then never seen again. Sell the toy. He's a schizophrenic. That's gonna sell a toy. No one fucking cares. Whatever. So the big news of this past 2 weeks or something is that these are rumors that coming out will be a missing link Ultra Magnus, which makes sense because they've got the Optimus Prime figures. They just spray that fucker white. The difficult thing will be making the trailer articulated as well to make the Ultra Magnus mode. But the bigger news is there might be a missing link Grimlock. So this will be the first G1 Grimlock since, I guess, the original one. Because it's never been reissued or re-released in any form. So this will fucking sell. Because this is something that me and Mikey, when Mikey was on the show, would just remake the Dinobots. You'll make money.
Yes.
Ultra Magnus, I mean, they've already got half the job done, I guess. I think doing the armor and having that movable will be fiddly, but not... that's where that money is going for research development. Grimlock, he's not going to do a huge amount either, but this is the one that's just going to sell out. Good luck getting it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna.
Yeah. I mean, I look at this and go, well, God damn it, because other than the core class, I've bought every Grimlock that Hasbro have put out in like the last 20 years. So,
and you got to remember, these aren't cheap either. Like, Grimlock will probably be over 100, I guess. I would imagine he'll be over £100 easily, because Prime was... How much was Prime? Prime was 100 and something, right?
Prime
120?
was 120 with the trailer.
Yeah.
80 without it. So
80
Grimlock,
without?
Yeah. It's my recollection.
Grimlock has to be.
Grimlock, I reckon, will be the same price as Prime, or 100.
He'll be more than Prime because he's bigger than Prime. Not by a lot, granted, but he's bigger than Prime, and I think they'll push up the price because it's the first time he's been done.
I'd argue he's in some ways he's a bit more complicated than Prime as well.
No, 100%, 100%.
Yeah, and that's before you start factoring in adding the articulation to actually let him do poses.
Yeah,
which I'm genuinely intrigued to see how that works out. To be fair,
I could see like hips easy. I think they'll do ankle joints easily enough. I mean, I could see them easily making a shoulder swing out for the shoulder, and then you put the head on a ball joint. I think that's all.
His thighs are going to be a pain because his upper legs were always actually quite thin.
They're super thin, yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be intriguing to see how they get around that. But I think they were also die cast on the original, so that helped a bit as well.
Which parts?
his thighs.
No,
I'm pretty sure they were.
No, I'm pretty.
Were they?
I don't think they were. The part I remember.
No,
being,
you're right. 'Cause normally it was his chest, wasn't it? That was
Yeah,
on
it
the
was
Dinobots.
it was like the chest of the bit under his neck, which was the die-cast part. I remember. I think it's like
Yeah.
plastic.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Um,
But I'll be intrigued to see how it looks. And
yeah.
Magnus the same. Like you say, the trick's going to be working out the engineering on the trailer
Yeah, because
to make that.
The trailer didn't do much. It kind of stood up, and you just kind of plugged the white
the
slime
arms,
into the back.
Ironically, the arms on Magnus just need them to work out a functional shoulder joint that can move outwards. Because the arms on G1 Magnus are actually pretty good.
Yeah. Swinging the arms out, I don't know how you do that unless you just have it swing at the shoulder and you don't worry about the big white bit that sticks upwards, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, they could cheat it, but then that compromises how that actually works for the transformation, because that forms from pushing whoever's got the job of designing that, I don't envy them, because that's going to be a pain in the ass, but it could look really good.
Yeah. Be interesting to see how
these are two that I think of all the missing links they've announced to date. These are probably the two that most intrigue me.
I mean, were you not intrigued by Bumblebee and Cliffjumper? And Prime's just like, well, yeah, of course you do Prime,
Yeah, of course you do Prime first. It's Optimus Prime.
Yeah. The other ones were Sunstreaker, weren't they? Sunstreaker's kind of interesting because he hadn't had a re-release either. That was his first figure.
Sunstreaker was interesting. Yeah, like you say, because they hadn't re-released that original figure ever.
Yeah.
And it had the novelty value of, well, they did give him full articulation effectively.
Mm-hmm.
And by all accounts, it's a pretty good toy.
Yeah, just overpriced as usual, but one of those things. Mr. White says, "Evening, lads. Genuinely interested in a missing link Grimlock, and finally help stall the constant KO business of G1 Grimmies." Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how much of a hit that takes. The thing that might not hurt the KO Grimlocks will be, I think, dependent on how much the missing link is and how easy it is to get. Because I think the missing links have been both expensive and hard to pick up, because I'm pretty sure they sell out reasonably quickly. At least the Prime did.
That's been my understanding as well, to be fair.
Yeah. So I don't think the KO business will go away, to be honest. It just might expand to include missing link Grimlocks, I suppose. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
And Exelhead says, so are we going to have to fight Mikey to the death to get a copy of Grimlock? I don't know. I mean, Mikey's somewhere on an island. If you want to go and fight him, that's on you. I cannot guarantee, though, that killing Mikey or beating him, depending on your choice, will gift you a Grimlock of any kind. There might be one inside of his stomach. If you cut him open, you might be able to pull one out from inside him. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. You a doctor, Big D?
I'm not. Are you suggesting that Mikey is like a Transformers-filled pinata?
Yeah. Just hit him with a stick long enough, and Grimlocks will explode out of him. He's like the diva from the Fifth Element. Yeah. You'll put your hand inside of him, and your hand will be covered in blue, and you'll just start pulling out the Dinobots from inside of him, and he'll look like he's in slight ecstasy but pain at the same time. Like, oh. And we'll also
there's an image for everyone.
Yeah, we'll also have Chris Tucker. They're going, oh my God, come on, Dallas, help me, come on, Dallas, help me. That's a really fun movie. It is very French. It's very French.
It's very French. It's
very French.
Very daft, and it's all. It nothing else looks like the Fifth Element. It really doesn't.
What was that movie? Because there was wasn't there the French director who did The Fifth Element did another one called
Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets.
Yeah. It's got an absolutely dog shit name. But was that any good? Because I remember people saying it was very French again.
It's very French again. It's not what I would call good, but I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as some people have estimated it.
Is it?
If nothing else,
is it like The Fifth Element good, or is it not as good as The Fifth Element? Because I heard it wasn't as. Yeah, that's why.
It's not as good as a Fifth Element, but it does have Clive Russell gradually putting on an Imperial Commissar's uniform over the course of the film, which is hilarious.
Oh, okay. That's kind of fun. I mean, anything Warhammer related, I'm like, fair enough.
I see. I went to see it at the cinema. I was watching that film and saw Clive Owen. Yeah, cool. And then he gradually is putting on more and more of a military uniform, and then he puts on a fucking breastplate piece with, you know how Cadian officers have an eagle on a chain?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he hangs one of those and then puts a peaked cap on, and it's just like, oh, you bastards. That's the most 40k image possible, and you've wasted it here.
What happened to Clive Owen? Because he just feels like that man was a
He
not
never
a
got
massive star, but reasonably big, like a C, B, C, D tier guy, and then vanished.
The last thing he did was, I think he was doing a show for one of the American channels where he was playing, I think, one of Raymond Chandler's characters, but in retirement in France, in the south of France.
Okay.
Which reviewed quite well, if I remember rightly. But Clive Owen's an interesting actor because he's always been kind of like he's always just missed out on the roles that should have pelted into superstardom because he had all the tools. He's always had the tools to be a big star, but the roles just haven't panned out for him somehow.
Oh, he's a Henry Cavill, effectively, where he's good, but he keeps getting shit roles, or not.
It's not even shit roles. I mean, bear in mind, he was in Children of Men, a very well regarded film.
That was a good film, yeah. I like that.
Yeah, but then equally, he was in that Michael Bay produced King Arthur movie, which is
God.
But that film's weird because you look at the cast list of that, and it's actually got an amazing cast. And you just think, how did he get all these actors to do this?
Did that movie come out after Transformers?
I think it came out before because it was post Pirates of the Caribbean, if I remember rightly.
So he'd be riding high on maybe like The Island or one of the other big budget movies?
I can't remember because The Island.
Because if you remember, at one point Michael Bay was like seen as like the next big director. I'm pretty sure I remember that. So that's probably why he had that many people because like the studio, like, he's hot shit. Let's give him some big named actors, and then it's like, oh no.
Yeah, but really, Clive Owen's probably two most notable Hollywood roles I can think of are Children of Men and Shoot 'Em Up.
Yeah, I was going to say
entertaining movies, but neither of which are what. Because he's done a lot of critically acclaimed stuff. But it's just, it's weird.
Mr. White says Clive did a lot of TV recently. I'm guessing that's related to the thing that you said as well, Big D.
Yeah, as a lot of talented character actors have found, it's better to do TV shows and try and do films nowadays, sadly.
No, since the movie industry is burning. I hear Sinners is meant to be quite good.
Sinners I really enjoyed Sinners. The only thing that annoyed me is the fact that I had to skip out just as a film at a key moment because I really needed a piss and I couldn't hold it in. And then I came back and I know I've missed a stretch of important stuff, but the rest of the film was still thoroughly entertaining. I mean, I would recommend, if anyone gets a chance to, go and see Sinners. As a middle-aged white dude, there's stuff in there that is not in my cultural wheelhouse, but doesn't make it any less entertaining or good, Makes you think a bit.
Not in your
horror.
Cultural wheelhouse. I'm not even sure what that means in the context of the movie. It just sounds funny.
Yeah. But, no, I enjoyed it.
Mr. White says, I will be going to see Sinners. Well, that's because you are a sinner, Mr. White. So you need the church. You don't need the cinema. You need to go to the church and pray for your things to be resolved. Mr. White says, and I hate horror. Yeah.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah. Right, let's move on to the last two bits of news. They're quickies. TFCon Chicago, Charlie Adler, the voice of apparently Silverbolt and Trigger Happy and Vorath in G1. I didn't know that. But most notably, he was in the role of Starscream in the Transformers movie. It says just 2007, but I'm sure it means the other ones as well. He's going to be at TFCon Chicago.
They got him down here as Revenge of a Fallen Dark Moon as well. So.
It's just on the image. They've just got 2007 back. They should have just said the movies because I don't think they ever changed the voice actor. So Charlie Adler's going to be there, and also at the TFCon Toronto, so a different one, not Chicago, Toronto. Evan Michael Lee, the voice of Jazz in Transformers 1, who I think is going to TF Nation. Mr. Wild probably confirm that in chat later, is also going to be going to TFCon. So if you want to go and say hi to the voice of Jazz in TF1, they're going to be there. Yeah, and I think that's all of our news for this week, Mr. Big D. I'm just doing a quick refresh.
Yeah.
Oh, Dr. Wu put up something just quickly we can talk about. Ooh. If you go to the main page, nothing crazy, but Dr. Wu is doing the Dr. Wu X Mechanic Toys MS-37 Giant Axe, which is a legend scale broadside figure. Everybody's favorite shoe boat transformer. He's going to stand 13 centimeters tall, so as tall as the Dr. Wu Devastator that we talked about right at the beginning of the show. 5 little 1 centimeter planes are going to be included as a pre-order bonus for the first 500 pre-orders. So that's quite nice. They also reveal 2 color variants, MS-37D in his pre-final deco and head, and the MS-37M in his first pre-final deco and head.
Okay. That's really cool. So your one is kind of like the toy deco, the other one's the cartoon deco. That's kind of nifty.
Which is one also has like blue arms, blue feet, and a blue head. If you scroll down a little bit.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that one. I was looking further up.
Yeah, that's
weird. That's the
I guess cool.
That's
the. I don't know which one. I kind of like this. The blue armed one. Granted, the blue armed one kind of looks like a background character in a G1 episode, like random season 3 episode background character. It didn't look too bad.
I kind of like one with the cockpit on his chest and the faceplate head.
That's the more standard IDW kind of one I think of, because they do have the. Oh, I see. The blue one, the blue armed one, is using the season 3 head, which I remember he popped up in the really bad episodes, looking like this every now and again. So how does his modes look? Let's have a look at the airship carrier. So in terms of jets, it comes with, I guess they're meant to be the aerial bots, which you can plug on.
The aircraft. That's them. Seems to be a thing now.
Yeah, the aircraft carrier mode is. It's fine for an aircraft carrier mode. It's, I guess okay, right?
Yeah. I mean,
the plane mode.
It's a flight deck on a brick. That's an aircraft carrier.
Yeah, I think you can get aircraft carriers to be a little bit more dynamically shaped. Usually, when the flight deck kind of bows out a little bit further, but it's fine, whatever. The jet mode is a little bit wank, much as Broadside's jet mode is always a little bit wank. It's messy, but I guess that's what it is.
I'd argue it's potentially better than most Broadside jet modes have been in the past.
Yeah, I suppose. I just hate how flat the wings are, and the wings being on the bottom of the plane always looks weird. But that's just the fucking design. There's nothing really you can do about it. They have a shot of like him standing next to the rest of the Doctor Wu stuff with Magnus, Power Glide, a lot of mini bots actually, Preceptor, and he seems to scale fairly well with them and look quite nice next to those guys. I will say the Ultra Magnus looks a little bit gummy. The Preceptor looks like a gummy toy as well. Just a little bit on the soft side. Broadside has a bit more of a harder plastic look. I think if you look at like Power Glide and Sea Spray, they also have a bit more of a defined look to them. While I guess the earlier releases look a little bit soft.
I can get that. Yeah. That's interesting. I do like that they've intentionally made him bigger, though. That's fun. That's cute.
Yeah, I dig that. I'd say in scale, but it was season 3, so Firebolt was part of the Decepticons on Char once or twice. Bruticus was standing next to the rest of the Combaticons once or twice. So it's like The season 3, no one cared. No one cared in season 3 for some reason.
And I don't think any character scale has shifted around as much as Broadsize has, because no one can settle on what size to make him.
As much?
Yeah, because which really is just because he don't make a lot of sense.
I guess you could argue Astro Train, right? Because how big? Like Astro Train's big enough to be about the same size as everybody, and yet also can store Devastator inside of him.
Yeah, Astro Train's. Yeah, Astro Train is always as big as the plot requires.
I mean, that was a lot of Transformers, to be fair. But
True.
yeah, for Broadside, this looks for Legend scale Broadside. This looks fine. Like Big D said, you can either have the cockpit on the front, or you can have the cartoon accurate version where he's more smooth, or you can have the toy head, or again the cartoon head, whichever you like. The options here, I still maybe like the blue one a little bit more in some ways, but I can't really say why. But with that's all of our news. That's us done, Big D. We're done. Yay!
Yay! Huzzah!
So I guess what have we been up to, Big D? Do you want to talk about the Transformers first, or should we talk about Warhammer World?
Let's talk about Transformers first.
Right.
That sounds.
Well, both me and Big D got Dino King from Japan and Studio Series Optimus Prime. So which would you prefer to talk about first? Well, you got the Dino King upgrade kit as well. My pre-order didn't come through, so I can't do that. Oh,
that's a shame. Let's talk Dino King. Because I quite like these nerds. Even before I put the upgrades on, they're just kind of fun.
I like them, but I think they're too much for what they were originally asked for. And I just mean the Dinobot individual formers as well.
Yeah.
I understand why they are missing joints, but there are some joints in there which I'm like, man, these could have really done with some extra joints. Like Sludge or whatever his name is from Japan, he's unsalvageable. That figure, that can't be saved. That is just a fucking mess. He has to form the groin, torso area, the lower abdomen. So he's fucked. Unless they just completely scrapped the figure and came up with a better design, there's nothing you could have done.
The only way I think they could have salvaged Sludge, that particular figure, would be if the whole team was a size class bigger. So if they'd been like all deluxes instead, that might have salvaged it, but you'd never been able. You could have sold them the Dinobot as the Dinobots at that price point. You'd have struggled to sell the.
Well,
the
I
Dino
think
Force.
there has to have been a more elegant solution, just even at a Legend scale, than how they made it. And like I said, I realize he's got to be like hips, and he's going to have like his legs kind of swing out. It just makes him a very unpleasant experience.
He does. I mean, I do kind of have a certain amount of respect for the innovation for what they tried to do.
Yeah.
But the execution is just where it didn't execute very well.
He needed more money, and I think you're right. If he was a deluxe class, they could have filtered a bit more money into it to make it work a bit better. But then a deluxe class, then you have different expectations for what a figure can do as well. So you've got that issue there.
You're never really going to please them. Combiners are always a tricky one because you have to compromise to make the combiner mode work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you could design the perfect combiner, and it'll cost a freaking fortune.
I mean, they do. They're called third party.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even third party Legend scale combiners. I mean, the Arn Factory Leo Kaiser, they're what, 40 quid a pop?
35?
Yeah. So, which is actually, that's not a bad price for a third party figure. But it's still...
that's very good with the amount of accessories you get with them as well. Because it's not just a figure, it's like 6 or 7 hands, multiple weapons, the combining the little chest that transforms itself, or a cartoon chest, the animal chest that can turn into a gun as well, or a cartoon accurate gun as well. They're incredibly reasonably priced, I would say.
Yeah. But if you look at, I mean, Arn Factory are almost out here and they work pretty much exclusively in the Legends scale, and all their stuff is actually priced normally 2 to 3 times what you'd expect of a similarly sized figure, unless they have lots more accessories. So their primes and magnitudes are always high priced because they come with a lot more. So there's it's those mechanics. It's different markets. Hasbro have to, but even though this was a collector's set, it's still intended for a mass market, effectively. Whereas
I'd say that's not the case. I would say that the original molds were made for a mass retail. I don't think the price of the collector set had too much to do with it because it didn't really add a huge amount. The only things that are new for this are, if you want to correct me, a couple of like new pieces and like weapons, but nothing is actually remolded for this set.
No, not from what I could see. I think maybe a couple of the heads are slightly different, but not.
Okay. I assume they were all the same, and the only things that were new were the bits to make Dino King effectively, and then just a paint job. Oh no, you must be right, because I'm pretty sure Goryu, or which the Grimlock one has he doesn't have a Grimlock face, does he?
No, and I mean the Dino King head is different to Volcanicus is. Yeah. So there were differences between the two molds. I think these figures work a lot better as these guys than as the Dinobots.
Oh yeah.
Because that's for one set of Dinobots I haven't bought. The Legends ones, purely because they didn't, or the core ones because they didn't do anything for me.
Is there any way to get the T-Rex head to like click into position when you have it in leg mode? Because it seems like there is no way for it to not move, like when you bend the knee.
It doesn't look like it, no.
That's something I would say is a shame. That's something that would be nice if it could like connect. So when you move the knee, the head of the Dinobot, the head of the Grimlock T-Rex motors can kind of flip upwards, and you can see the robot head underneath. Also, the Stegosaurus arm. I wish there was a bit more of an elegant way to have done that, which is probably something that you can talk about with the upgrade kit. Because if you want to have an elbow bend, you have to put the arm at an angle where it's too big to stay next to the arm smoothly. So it's a bit on the awkward side. Otherwise, I'd say the individual robots are fine. They're not amazing. And they're always like, I wish there was just a little bit something here, or I wish this was done a little bit differently. I wish this was this or that. But overall, I was more happy with them than I thought I would be. I would say generally. And like you say, they look nice as a set. I'm just hoping that I can get the upgrade kit at some point in the future as well. I wish the joints were a little bit tighter as well. That'd be nice.
I mean, I do like how the upgrade kit goes together and everyone. I had a little bit of... It was a little finicky at first, just getting everything in my head, but that's because I had the kit, and then I had the kit arrive before the Dino Force, so I was trying to do everything together on one thing. So that's my fault. But once you have everything in place... I mean, I've not changed these guys out of Dino King since I put all the upgrades in. I liked how the upgrades worked for each of the individual figures in their own right. But together, because I think I've got everything on him now. But I just like how some of the little things work, like how the Ankylodon, you actually only use one of the robot mode legs to form the combined mode arm. Rather than both of them, because you plug the new forearm into one of the legs, and that's actually kind of fun how that works. It's one of those little bits of design that it's like, oh, okay, that actually makes sense. Like you say, it is a shame that the T-Rex head, there's no real way to. You have to hold it in place when you move the knee.
Yeah, I'm guessing the upgrade kit doesn't fix that part either.
No, the weird thing is that he comes with replacement torso pieces for the T-Rex.
Okay.
So you know how they fold out to form those wings, effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah, you basically pull those off, and they've got replacement bits to go on instead, which I think have slightly different tooling than slightly different arms to the stock one.
Okay.
I probably should have checked that, to be honest. So apologies for that. But I do like how they look. He's quite nice and solid, stands well. He's a Diddy combiner, because I hadn't really had one of these before, so I didn't know how big they were going to be. But it's fun.
He's a little smaller than Studio Series Prime when these combined together.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny when you stop and because, like, yeah, of course, these nerds would be in the combined mode. For them to be smaller than Optimus Prime is actually hilarious. You can see them doing the whole transformation process, getting all excited, and then they just stood in front of Prime and they have to look up in their combined mode.
Yeah, that's
perfect.
We know the reason why they're that big, and it's not for screen accuracy or anything like that. Unfortunately,
no, but it adds to the comedy.
These guys in any other way, unfortunately.
No, but they're a comedy team anyway, you know, and it kind of just leans into that, and they're just kind of adorable.
They might actually. This set might be not too much bigger than the original Dino King Monstructor figures.
No, they wouldn't have been because
Monstructor's not very tall. The original figure.
No. I never had the full one, but I did have a leg. I had like a diagonal cross section of Monstructor. I mean, I was missing one leg and one arm.
The problem with Monstructor is that, like, Bristol back and the groin were gold plastic, whoever the groin was. So
yeah,
good luck getting them.
Yeah.
I've got Ice Pick. I've got Scowl. I've got what's his name? The Firefly or something like that. The one with the purple and green shell. I can't remember. I don't have Bird Brain. Who I think is the only one I need who isn't going to explode.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't buy the other two because, you know, there's no point buying them because they'll just die.
No. You might as well just if you see one, you might as well just crumple the box in your hand to save yourself time.
I still say that there needs to be a third-party company that is just Not My Dust or something, which just remakes all the original toys, add Glow Plastic Syndrome, and just goes, here, now you can get these bits. Or like there's the Gold Plastic Syndrome parts for... what do you call them? Black Zarek, and goes, here, you can buy these parts and they're perfectly accurate and they look the same. They just won't turn to dust. That would be a very good company. Get Skyhammer that wouldn't explode either. That'd be nice. XL Hedge says, been buying random Galaxy Force blokies. So disappointed. Ooh. I've only gone 3 Decepticons, G1 Megatron, Starscream, Longfall, and 7 Autobots, G1 Prime, Ratchet, Grimlock, Slag, Swoop, Snarl, and Sunstreaker. I do, however, like how they scale with the Titan class figures. You've got some blockies, don't you?
Is this what Hedge asked me to be sympathetic that he's managed to get 4 of the Dinobots? Because he ain't gonna get it. I got Magnus and Cliff Jumper out of the 2 I bought.
Okay, were you just buying them blind, or can you actually buy them?
I bought them from Game.
Okay.
I was in a game and they had them. I was like, let's take a punt. I bought 2.
Will you get more? Is that enough for you?
I'm tempted, honestly.
Okay.
I haven't. I mean, I keep seeing like cases for sale for. Honestly, not too bad. I mean, it's like 40 or 50 quid for a case off AliExpress with shipping included. Mm-hmm. That's pretty decent for. You're getting what, minimum of 8 or 10 figures in a case.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
And I don't think a case usually has dupes in it, or if it does, it doesn't have many dupes. I don't know.
I don't think it does. No.
No.
I mean, normally if there are dupes, you should get normally the core set of figures in a case and then
some extras maybe as well.
Yeah, and you might get 1 or 2 dupes out of that.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad at the end of the day, but they're fun. I do like the fact that blokies exist and that they're just kind of adorable.
Anything else to say on Dino King?
Or
the upgrade set?
Dino King, I'm very glad to have him in my collection because I never had Dino King, and it kind of makes me wish I'd been able to go in on Leo Kaiser because I had to cancel my order
Hmm.
because I couldn't really justify that much. So
No.
I'm hoping I can pick one up once it releases in case someone like In Demand or someone gets a few in, which could be iffy, but we'll
they'll probably be more expensive. That's how it usually works,
more.
though, right?
Yeah, but that's literally the price you pay for doing that. So we'll see. But no, they're fun, and the upgrade kit is a really nice upgrade kit. If you have Dino King, I think you kind of want the DNA upgrade if you can find it.
Mm-hmm.
It's one that I do hope they do another run on if it's sold out everywhere, because
I don't know if they will, because America had theirs and they sold out a while ago, and this was the Japanese release, and I think that'll probably be it, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I don't think he justifies having a re-release. I mean, maybe like a year or a few years down the line. I don't think it'll be anytime soon.
Yeah, that's fair.
Unfortunately.
I mean, there are. I mean, I have seen more than a few other third-party companies do 3D printed parts for him. So there are options, but the DNA kit is the most comprehensive. It does the most to all the figures, and it makes Dino King especially sing. And there's little things that, I mean, they put a few things into the sludge figure, and I keep forgetting what his Japanese name is, so that's really bad of me.
Yeah.
But they give you like a few pieces. He gets some gap fillers for the back and like a waist filler that helps hide the fake hips. So it doesn't look as egregious, which is a nice touch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I dig it. It's cool.
And Studio Series Optimus Prime, at least the Japanese one.
Oh.
There are also rumors as well that I saw on Twitter today that AS Toys is going to be doing a £20, £30 version of Studio Series Optimus Prime, which is kind of funny.
I saw it priced at £15.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be
just for robot. And I can't. I mean, for one thing, I can't imagine how, because Studio Series Prime, he's got a heft to him.
Yeah, there's a lot of parts to him. I don't think I would have liked it to have been cheaper, because obviously, as I've said many times, and I always will, the trailer is literally still in. I've not taken the trailer or roller out of the box because I don't give a rat's ass. You know, it doesn't bother me.
I like that, much like Rodimus, I like that the trailer can store everything, and much like Rodimus, I can in hand. You can feel where the money's gone on the engineering, but it does still feel egregious to pay that much for a figure that's basically a large Voyager, or a leader size by modern standards. But I won't deny, when I opened that box and saw it for the first time, I had a little moment.
Did you?
One that I haven't really had since I got MP1 Convoy.
I didn't have a moment, but this is my first like G1 Optimus Prime in many years, because I usually pass on them. So
I have the Earthrise Prime. This blows that out of the water. Yeah. I liked Earthrise Prime. Now, I have Reactivate Prime next to me and Studio Series Prime in my hand. I like both of them for what they do, and they do two very different things very well for me. So Reactivate is kind of like become my IDW style Prime. He's got that vibe for me. He's got a lot of what I loved about the classics Prime toy.
Yeah.
Whereas Studio Series, they're going to have to do some, to my mind, to make a better Generation 1 style Optimus Prime toy. So
I slightly disagree, but not completely, because like I think the transformation is for a children's toy, which is theoretically what Studio Series is still meant to be. It's too much. It feels a little bit like Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime. It's a really good transformation on Studio Series Optimus Prime, But you couldn't give this to a kid.
Oh God, no.
You couldn't give this to a 5-year-old and be like, "Yeah, transform this." You couldn't, like an 8-year-old would start getting really faffy and annoyed with it.
Yeah, yeah.
I like. There's a lot of it does feel like a masterpiece figure in a lot of ways. It feels. Does it feel more complex? I think it does feel more complex than Masterpiece 1 Optimus Prime.
I would say that is fair. Yeah.
It's for a mainline toy. Maybe it should be a little bit easier. I still enjoy it, but specifically, there's one part about the figure I'm not a fan of, and it's when you know when you transform the legs, and you have the panels on the back of his calf muscles, right? And you flip them forward, and they peg into the white bit, and they've got this little peg where it then goes into the red part. And unless you've got everything lined up correctly and really smoothly, those legs don't like sit flat on the ground.
Yeah.
And parts like that are always like, whenever you get parts that like they need to be in a very, very specific alignment to go into these slots correctly, I'm never a big fan of that. So when I got to that bit, I was like, I can't be bothered to fanny around to try and get these parts to line up.
Yeah, I can get that. Yeah.
Otherwise, I think it's a really good figure. It looks great. It does feel good and girthy and weighty in your hand. I wish the head had more articulation, because it is on like a ball joint, but the ball joint effectively does nothing.
Yeah,
it gets a very, very, very minor like head tilt.
Actually, one thing that does slightly, I don't know if it bugs me, but it is probably my one real criticism, is on the head sculpt. Is a mirror of the antenna a little too thick on the sides?
Yes, that's why someone did an upgrade kit. I can't remember who it was. It might be DNA, where they made. I think it was DNA, because I think the DNA upgrade kit for it was you got a Megatron arm and one of the heads.
They haven't released that yet.
I think they've got it on pre-order or something.
Yeah, I've pre-ordered.
Yeah, the antenna are big, so you don't snap them, which makes sense because it's not the smoothest. At least I didn't find it the smoothest to get his head into his chest. Like you had to bend the antenna for the head to go into the slot. So I guess that's another reason why
it's interesting you say that, because one of the things I've seen people comment on is that in addition to the Japanese version having the lights on the back of the feet the right way around.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people comment that the way that the head folds in, that joint for the transformation, is actually supposed to be smoother on this version. So that makes me wonder how bad it is on the Hasbro version, if this is the smoother version.
My issue is more so that it feels like the head it's too tight to get the head into that slot because of the size of the antenna. Like you have to move the antenna a little bit forward to try and smush it all in there together. I would have liked that to have been a little bit more open, so it could have slid in there a little bit easier. It's not a massive issue. It's just one of those. Would have been nice.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I'm very happy with this Prime. I'm sure in like a year's time there will be an even betterer new Optimus Prime out, because that's the way Transformers works. Would it be nice for him to have a double elbow joint? Yeah, it would be nice to have a double elbow joint. I think they probably could have engineered it to work that way. Could the waist joint be a little bit smoother to work? Yeah, it would be nice if he didn't have to unpeg his blue bottom, then turn his chest, and then reconnect his blue bottom, so you can get the waist joint to work. That could have worked a little bit smoother and stuff like that. But generally, I think this is a really good figure. I'd pick it up again if I could get it much cheaper and in a different color scheme. So, like if they did Toxitron version, I'd be interested in getting the Toxitron version.
Yeah, Toxitron actually be.
No, probably not. They do.
Someone will.
They'll do Nemesis. I don't know if they'll do Toxitron. Toxitron always kind of gets left in the dirt. Also, I never care about, like, they've got the fingers where you can individually pose them. I don't really care about individually posed fingers on my toys personally. I find it makes them a little bit fiddly when you're trying to get them into specific poses. I'd rather have just like you pop the hand off and replace it with a different posed hand, personally.
Yeah, but it is cool that you can make him do the finger point of Doom of Optimus Prime, just going.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say no if that was just a removable hand.
Yeah. Understandable.
It's not a big deal. It's just one of those. Oh, he's got the Matrix of Leadership because, of course, he does. Okay, well, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like I don't think it's even a new Matrix of Leadership. I think it's the same Matrix that we've had mold-wise for a while, but it's hard to tell because we've had so many Matrixes.
It's kind of bonkers. I read some of it. Apparently, the Matrix that comes with Prima is actually different.
Oh, it's a new one.
Yeah, because you can't actually fit it in any of the other Prime's chest cavities.
Interesting.
And at least with someone tried the Rodimus Prime Matrix. Rodimus's Matrix won't work with the Sword of Primus.
Okay.
Because it's too loose.
Right. So it's too small for it.
But his Matrix will fit in Prima Prime's chest, but Prima Prime's Matrix won't fit in Rodimus's.
Right. Okay.
Which is kind of weird, but okay.
Mr. White says the next step is a Matrix combiner set, creating a full battle set from the countless previous Yes, where you. Well, technically, if you've got a pot of super glue, you could just do that yourself. You could only do it once, but you could do it. Certainly, the ultimate Matrix, till all are actually one through glue. But no, I like this Prime. I'm glad I got him from Japan. So technically, he was a little cheaper, not massively, but technically he was a little cheaper. Because I don't know about you, but you just can't get Prime. I never saw Prime Studio Series Prime go on sale, not once.
I never saw him on the shelves of the Smiths anywhere.
No, me neither.
He was supposed to be on sale there.
Yeah. Same.
His online availability was
dubious.
Brief, I think, is optimist wording for it. I mean, it's nice that he did sell, and I think, did they say that this is supposed to be one that they keep available ongoing?
I mean, you think so, but what does that mean? Because if you can't buy it on the Hasbro Pulse store and it's meant to be always available, it's like, well, what do you mean, Hasbro?
Yeah,
he's always going to be available, but he's not. So
really?
What do you mean? You know? I could see them like farting him out again at some point in the future, maybe at some point during the Prime line, maybe next year, maybe 2026, they'll poop him out again.
Like you say, we'll probably get at least a Nemesis Prime repaint. I would probably expect to see it. It wouldn't surprise me to see an all-white repaint. Not Ultra Magnus, but Return of Optimus Prime white.
Yeah, they could be shitty and do that, yes.
Yeah. I'm kind of intrigued to see what that AS Toys one feels like in hand, because that
I'll wait, and if people say it's good, I'll wait for them to do a repaint, because they'll probably do a repaint third party. Because AS Toys are the guys that did or are doing the Transformers Prime stuff, if I remember. And that
was that not APC or APC?
Oh, that is APC. So who the fuck is AS Toys? Is AS Toys somebody new?
I think I had a look on AliExpress. I couldn't see anything for them. And
there's nothing on Show Z. There's no AS. There's APC Toys, but no AS Toys.
And Bombersby just has nothing listed. They have a category for them, but there's nothing in there. So.
Yeah, so it's a, in quotations, new third-party company. It's probably just another KO company. Yeah, how good will the KO be? That's quite important. It's going to be sold without the trailer as well, which is like who fucking cares?
Yeah.
You just give them the Earthrise one, I suppose.
Lose the trailer and it's suddenly...
See, it's 20 quid. Well, I mean, it's a knockoff, so obviously they could sell it a lot cheaper, but it's still funny that they could do that. Because they could, if they said 40 or like 50, you'd be like, that's still good. Yeah. That's still a good deal, technically. Oh,
So-
isn't I think I remember hearing as well, or rumors that Studio Series Hot Rod's going to get a re-release as well, which is good for me because I wanted that figure, and that figure got expensive online.
It did. I'm so glad I was able to get that one when it first.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that one in a proper hot pink. Like he's
Magenta.
supposed.
Yeah.
Yes, but
Maybe that's what they'll do for the re-release. That would be a smart idea.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be tasty.
Because it's
Very
one,
tasty.
it's a re-release, and two, it's a arguably more accurate version. So just do that. Whether I don't think they will, because we've seen with their re-releases, it's just the figure again. If they
But
wanted
then
to sell more, it would be smarter to do that.
But then next year is the 40th anniversary of the film, so
So another Hot Rod will come out then. Is what you're saying.
well, it just makes perfect sense for them to do a proper screen accurate repaint. So.
Exel Head says, Hate Plague Silver 86 Prime versus Red 86 Rodimus 2-pack. That would be funny.
That'd be hilarious.
I wouldn't want that. I would be really annoyed by that. But there would be people that would buy that. Definitely would buy that. But I'd look at that as like, fuck off. Jesus Christ. Do you remember that one episode? I do. I had that one episode on VHS. But I'd never want it. It's not something I'd ever desire. That sounds like a third party thing. Like if a third party did that, whatever.
It does. That's sort of. I'm trying because Hot Rod would probably be all metallic.
Yeah, like
pinks and reds to get that. Otherwise, you'd have to do a more translucent, which no one wants to see.
You could do chrome plating, but you'd need to do it very tactily, so it doesn't like rub off or scrape off or anything.
Yeah,
kind of like the Lucky Draw figures. It could be quite interesting.
Or lots of metallic flake plastic, which is terrifying in its own
the
right.
metallic paint would probably be best, but again, like you say, that's something that could scrape off really easily, depending on where you placed it. It could be a thing, I suppose. Have you had any other Transformers, or is that because that's it for me, Transformer wise?
That has. I have picked up Air Raid and Slingshot from the Aerial Bots.
Are they in hand, or are they?
No, I have them in hand. Air Raid I got off Amazon, and Slingshot I picked up from Smith's in Nottingham when we were up there.
So are they just Combiner Wars toys, effectively, just a little bit cleaner, remolded? Because they look it.
A bit, yeah. I mean, they feel a lot nicer, a lot more articulated, which is a given. They just feel nicer in hand than the Combiner Wars versions did. So as much as I appreciated the play pattern of the Combiner Wars combiners, I'm not unaware of the flaws in the line.
Yeah, they were a little bit loosey-goosey in a lot of ways.
Yeah, these are a lot more solid.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you get 2 guns for each one, so you're not stuck with a single gun under a wing.
Yeah, that was really annoying.
Which I always hated.
OCD man would hate that. All OCD.
Yeah, and,
even if you're not OCD, it's just annoying because it's like asymmetrical. Planes should have 2 guns on each wing.
Yeah. But they look nice as well. They feel nice. They look nice. Yeah, I'm happy with them.
Okay, so. Good. Well, the only other thing that we've really done, you and I, we went to Warhammer World, not last week, but the week before, and we had I'll throw up a few pictures on screen from Bugman's. We played Hero Quest in the bar, which was quite nice.
We made a lot of people coming through the bar jealous.
Yes. I would have liked it if it was Warhammer Quest, but it's just not possible to do Warhammer Quest because of how the board works.
Yeah, Warhammer Quest is well, for one thing, I don't know about anyone else who still has a copy of original Warhammer Quest, but those board tiles warp like you wouldn't believe.
Really? Is that the same with Space Hulk as well?
I don't know about Space Hulk, but most of my Warhammer Quest tiles, they've warped a bit over decades of that. I probably could. I've there might be some. I've not tried to be honest. So. But it's possible. But we had a good time in Hero Quest with Gruff running the scenario for us, and
the only thing I don't like
your cries of broadsword.
The only thing I've never liked about Gruff running Hero Quest is he doesn't tell you how to play. So I remember the first time I played, like I do.
Yeah.
You have no idea what to do. You don't know you can search rooms. It doesn't tell you any of that stuff. And I'd like, I wish he would just, I wish he would have told us, at least the people who hadn't played before, and I wish when I hadn't played, that you can do this thing. So you can move and then you have an action. And by action, that means you can attack, you can search, you can do this and that. Because once I know the parameters of what I can do, it means I can, play the game rather than just like discover it. But, that's the way he likes to run the game. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I just, I like to know what I could do and not being able to, not like going into a room and seeing a bookcase and not searching it because you just don't know that that's the thing you can do. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah. It was funny though how I killed nothing, but had a nice wander around the dungeon.
Yep.
Everyone else killed things, and then one of the other guys just kept stealing all the loot. Which is,
yes, I think it was Lawrence that kept stealing everything.
That was hilarious because I think you kicked the gargoyle in the nuts when Lawrence came in and picked his pocket.
I didn't kill it alone. A lot of people also helped towards killing the gargoyle, but I did finish it off. Mr. White apparently said he killed it. I thought, no, you killed the ogre, Mr. White. I'm sure you killed the ogre. Unless someone stole that kill from you. Mr. White says, I achieved nothing. I merely survived. No, I'm sure. I'm 100% positive you killed the ogre. You did a lot of damage to it.
And if you survived, that was more than I accomplished because I got properly mullered.
Yeah, you got bullied in a corner effectively, alone.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. White says someone stole the kill from me. Was it? Did you steal the kill from him, Big D? Because if not, it would have been Lawrence or Ben.
I don't think it was me.
Was it the shitty elf, Mr. White? Or was it the... trying to... No, it couldn't have been Ben, because Ben was stuck in the main center of the dungeon.
Because the ogre was in the fight was in the corridor.
That's
after
right.
After we got out of the main room.
Mr. White says it was this shitty elf. Yeah, so it was Lawrence, the one that left Big D to die as well after stealing the treasure. Fucking Lawrence. You never trust a fucking elf. That's what I say. I don't have a huge amount of pictures from the event, but from Warhammer World, but it was really good. I had a lot of fun. I could have done with more sleep, and I really should have taken my camera before leaving the car, and I really should have eaten some food before like 3 o'clock because I hadn't eaten anything that day.
Yeah, I mean, I made the choice to stay in a hotel before and after, which I think was the right choice to make.
It helped, I'm sure. Yeah.
But it was a great day. It was great to see you guys in person for the first time.
Yeah, it was nice to see you too. And it was nice to see Mr. White after apparently 10 fucking years, which I didn't think was the case. When Mr. White was like, oh yeah, I haven't seen you for 10 years, I was like, no.
I hadn't realised I parked my car right underneath the Imperial Aquila. That's funny.
Yeah. I wasn't intentionally trying to take a picture of your car, but I just noticed it and went, oh yeah, there's the car. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
I still wish you had the Mazda, though. I still wish that Mazda was yours.
I couldn't fit into a Mazda.
It's not the point. You don't buy a Mazda for comfort. You buy a Mazda for a small penis, is what I'm told.
I'm happy with my Ford Focus.
And I'm not happy with my Ford Ka, but this is what I have, and I'm not buying a new one. I wish we could have played in the tournament, well, the game hall, but it was loud. I couldn't believe how loud it was, but it made sense. It was.
I just found it hilarious that it was such a busy day of gaming.
It was super busy.
And that was for Saturday of Salute.
What's that?
That's the UK's biggest independent war game show down in London.
Oh no, that was because that was right, because it was on Saturday and Sunday, and Mr. White gave up a Saturday to come down and see us.
Yeah,
I don't know, Mr. White. Did you go to the Sunday show? Or were you?
No, it's just for Saturday.
I thought it was Saturday.
It's a one day show.
Huh. Okay.
But it just made me chuckle because I hadn't realised it was that weekend until like a month beforehand, and I'd already booked my hotel room, made arrangements to come and see you guys.
Mm.
Otherwise, I'd have been at Salute because I freaking love Salute.
Mr. White says
It's great
the
fun.
really big UK show was 100 meters from my flat. Yeah, I remember Gruff mentioned that, and I was like, well, got you out of London.
Yeah.
Like if
But that was
someone
great.
said, "Do you want to go to that expo?" and you'd be like, "Oh, it's London though." Mm.
But I mean, the exhibition hall, I enjoyed having a wander around because some of those displays were frankly bonkers.
You know what they needed? Chairs. They needed some chairs in the display room.
Yeah, because both me and Mr. White had to. Well, I had to go off to take some painkillers anyway, and we both had to sit down because I needed one because my back doesn't do well after long periods standing, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was on my own in the hall, and I was like, "Where's Big D and Mr. White?" And I went straight to the 40K room, and it was like, "Well, they're not here," and I don't think they would have rushed off. Oh well. So then I was like, maybe I should go for food. I was like, no, I'll just.
We
hang
told
around
Gruff we were just about that was where I exploded my tooth. So
oh, that's when it happened. Oh,
Yeah.
I assumed it was just because your legs were hurting or something like that, which would make sense. Because like for people that haven't been to Warhammer World, the cases are so big that you're going to be like going down on your knees and then squatting down on your knees, then standing up, then squatting down on your knees. It got to a point where because there's so much happening in those displays, my eyes began to like blur a little bit, and it became hard to focus on everything that was happening.
So many displays, and then of course in the actual
Massive
shop area, you have monstrosities like Kragnos with human feet, which that still freaks me the hell out, man. It's like they painted the whole thing in flesh color as well.
Yes, yeah. I wish I'd gotten better photos, but I was by this point. This was like when we were doing our last round, so I was just kind of very quickly going around trying to take pictures. So some of them were out of focus, which I deleted. This scene, Xiaomi, was really disgustingly well painted. The worst thing about the Warhammer World, you get to see these amazing, fantastic paint jobs, and then you look at your own and you go, well, not that this good. This is why you should never have a zine, Xiaomi, because you're meant to make them rainbow colored and whatnot. There's another Kragnos. I really like these Votan that had been edited to have like little snake heads. Are these skink heads? Is that what they were? I couldn't actually tell what the heads were.
I think they were, yeah.
Yeah.
But they were fun.
They were very cool. I don't know what they were meant to be apart from just like a really interesting, cool little set. If they wanted to bring back the Slan for 40K and they looked like this, I'd be okay with that. Mr. White says, thanks to Rail Chaos, I ended up seeing far more of the country than I ever wanted. Yeah, you had a journey, Mr. White. I just had a long time in the car. I was in the car for like 3.5 hours going back, and then went to pee in Gruff's toilet, and then had another 1.5-hour journey back home in my car.
Oh, ouch.
I got to listen to more of Orc Slayer, so I'm not gonna complain. Yeah, it's a fun book. That's all of the photos I have, and the only other thing I've been doing recently was I painted and finished my Necro Sphinx.
Yeah, that looks good. That's really nice, mate.
I hated the fucking triangles. It annoys me because I know I'm gonna have to probably get another one for the army, but because of Warhammer World, I know that there is a way to reposition the wings so you can have them more outwards, and you can somehow, I don't know how they did it, reposition the back leg so you can have it more in an upright position. So that's what I'll be doing for the next one. Just to kind of mix it up. I keep looking at my bases and think, I know it's the desert, but I should probably add some more stuff to the bases. I don't know what, though, that would look normal.
Maybe the odd skull here or there.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think.
Bits of Cambrian masonry, maybe?
Yeah, I don't have any stone, like scenery parts. I do have some, like, badly 3D printed like skeletons, which I might just throw onto a base at some point.
That's a good shout, yeah.
Just because the details on them aren't great anyway. While I was at Warhammer World, I got the original first edition reprint of Realm of Chaos. I want to get the second one and Rogue Trader, but I didn't want to buy them all at one time, so it gives me another reason to kind of go back. I got a Tomb Scorpion, which I've partially built, but my glue is incredibly viscousy at the moment, so it's not actually coming out, so it's becoming a right pain in the ass. So I need to get some more super glue. And what else did I get? Oh, I got a Lich Priest, I think they're called, which is another metal model. So I've glued him together.
Yep.
And as of today, oh shit, get off! I glued the Krell that you gave me to his base.
Yay!
So I'm shocked how fucking tiny his base is. His
Well,
base.
It's only on like a 20 mil square base.
Yeah, and the 20 mil square base is actually too small for the metal, so I had to snip off some of the metal bar on the bottom.
I mean,
whatnot.
You could have put him on a 25 mil.
I don't have any other bases. I don't have any spare bases, so I haven't glued his banner either because I'm going to leave that off and do that. I think I'll probably have to glue him to a 25 millimeter base because it's probably more old world legal, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, because I don't have to rescale them.
I'm hoping that eventually they either do a new version of him for OS or they re-release the
resin.
The mini base. Well, we were having this chat with Discord whether like Isabella will come out in resin or metal, because I picked up the Empire Witch Hunter at Warhammer World, which is metal, but when it first came out, it was only ever available in Finecast. Because it was one of those, I think what it was sculpted for metal, but it was released when Finecast was taking over. So because of how Finecast worked, they literally just translate a whole crap load of metal minis to Finecast instead. So I think that's all they did. They just didn't do a metal release for it. So I'm wondering if Krell and Isabella might potentially be the same. But
it's hard to know, right? Because I guess it really depends on what the metric is for how many of the models they've done so far for the old world have been made into metal. Because I don't know, but I think the Lich Priest was originally... I don't know if he was originally in Finecast, but I'm pretty sure I have seen this Lich Priest in Finecast.
The Lich Priest would have been metal originally, because I don't think they ever did a new version of him in Finecast.
Okay.
The Lich Priest was a fairly standard figure for most of the Tomb King's life.
I have seen images of him on YouTube, not on YouTube, on eBay, and not eBay, on Google as Finecast as well.
Yeah.
So he's probably, like you said, originally metal and then was put into Finecast because Finecast is really good.
Yeah. I think from the stuff that's come out so far, their pattern has tended to be, if something was only available in resin, it's come out in resin. If it was intended for metal, they've done it in metal. But then if it was something in metal that was really awkward, like, say, the Bretonian catapult, the Empire War Wagon, all those big, chunky metal war engines, the things that were a pain in the ass.
The things that would fall apart effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've gone back and they haven't just done them in, not even Finecast, they've done them in Forge World resin, but they've actually gone back and they've done some minor fixing to the models.
So, like, I mean, this isn't what's happened or what will happen, but I guess if they re-released the Screamer Killer, they'd probably do that in resin. Same for the Lictor, right? Just because those were all in metal, and they would be a pain in the ass to... Because you had to pin them.
Oh, that's a good one.
Same for the Lord of Change and for the... No, you could probably do the Great Unclean one as metal. Lord of Change you probably need to do as resin. The Bloodthirsty you definitely would as well.
Yeah, the Great Unclean one you'd want in resin, because otherwise it'd be classed as a lethal weapon.
Yeah, but that much originally.
That much metal in hand is not safe. I
think the only thing that would have been difficult for that figure would have been the tongue, because that protruded. Everything else was reasonably close to the torso. Lord of Change was a piece of shit. The Bloodthirster was a real big piece of shit. He was a massive piece of shit because of his his metal wings and his arms. Very cool model.
And the giant head.
Yeah. I think the Keeper of Secrets was a piece of shit as well. I never had it, but I think that because it would have had like the claw arm at a large angle, so that was probably a difficult one to do as well.
Yeah, but I know that there was a point where they were designing miniatures especially to be cast in Finecast, and they did point out that there were some minis that, because like you know the Chaos Space Marine, their Tech Marine equivalent, the weird. There's a miniature for it in plastic at the moment, but they did a version in Finecast.
I don't remember the Finecast one. I remember the newer one with the tentacles and everything. I know that one.
Yeah, this one had tentacles as well. Like I say, they basically redid it for plastic. It's pretty much the same miniature, almost one for one. But they did point out that when they released that miniature, they made a point of saying that the way it was designed, there were things they did in the sculpting phase they wouldn't have done if it was going to be cast in metal, because it couldn't have been cast in metal because of some of the undercuts of the tooling wouldn't have worked. Because one of the things with resin is that because the mold's different and the material of resin has a slight flex to it, you can get more undercuts.
Right.
So it's quite often if you have a metal and a resin version of the same miniature, there's a good chance the resin will have, especially if it's a miniature that has a coat or a cloak or something that's got a lot of volume to it and stuff inside, you'll have a lot of that interior detail, whereas on the metal version, you won't.
Right.
You won't have as much detail visible because simply put, the tooling won't let you do that. The mold won't let you get that much detail because of how it works.
Yeah.
It's actually it's an interesting subject, to be fair, but it just kind of depends on where DW were in their design workflow of doing things. Because there's a good chance that counters like Isabel and Krell may have actually been done earlier, like we said, intended for metal, but held off and then released in Finecast, or they could have been designed specifically for Finecast, and that's all they might instead give it to us in forged resin, which is a bit nicer, but still
it's problematic. It's as we were talking about before the show, the forged resin still can be dicey sometimes. Holy.
Yeah, it's like with any material. There are benefits and downsides to it, so you just accept it for one of the pitfalls of the material, unfortunately.
What did you get? What did you get from Warhammer World, Big D?
I got for Witch Hunter.
Yep,
books.
He does look very nice. I'd be tempted to get him and maybe turn him into a vampire for the ironic sake.
I want to get another one because it's one of those miniatures I'd like to have two of, at least, because it's just a nice figure. It's one I always wanted, but I didn't want it in resin.
I think I think that's the model they used to base the Witch Hunter off for Total War as well, because that looks like the quintessential Witch Hunter, vampire hunter kind of dude. Yeah,
it's a nice update from where they were making Witch Hunters. Well, the intro phase where Witch Hunters in fantasy were basically Solomon Kane, Puritan style. Then they did more time and they made them much more brutal looking characters. And then this figure came out and they kind of split the difference, gave him a bit more of that Empire flair.
Yeah.
Basically with the slash silks that Gruff hates. and the big floppy hat, which is always a fun look on a Witch Hunter. And it's the fact that it's only $10, less than $10 for a metal miniature.
Yeah, I mean it's not
from Games Workshop. That's reasonable to my mind. I'm happy with that. So I'll happily buy another one at some point.
That's why I got the Lich Priest, because he was only like £9. Granted, the Tomb Scorpion was 25, but what can you do?
What else? I got the exhibition guide for.
Oh, you bought the book?
Yeah, I bought the book. I got the combo deal on the ticket.
Oh, I must have seen you and gone, oh, look at this sucker buying our fucking book. You'll be seeing this soon, right? You can take photos. Is it a nice book? Because I did consider grabbing it.
It is quite a nice book, in fairness. It's one of those ones where I'm annoyed that I didn't know as I think they did, because it looks like they refresh it every few years whenever they update the exhibitions.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
So there have been multiple editions over the years, because I'd love, there's someone out there who has a full set of all the different editions of it, and
lame.
Yeah. I got the Empire reference cards for the old world.
Okay.
What else did I get? 'Cause I bought a few books. Some of the
Like
novels that I
novel
was
books.
after.
Damn, you got more than
Yeah.
I thought you did.
Yeah.
A lot more than I thought you did.
I was tempted to buy a copy of Rogue Trader, but I didn't, which I do kind of regret a bit, to be fair.
We'll be going back. It'll be there.
I grabbed, because I've been filling in, going back and picking up spatial characters I haven't bought before. So I bought Ardrak Rockfist, the Anvil of Fenris, champion for Great Wolf himself, which was funny because I got home and my delivery of Logan Grimlock arrived as well. So
it was
I got
preordained.
to build both of them. Yeah. And today I've been building a bodyguard unit for him of nutters, which is fun. But Ardrak was a fun cast. Very nice, clean cast flow overall. Had a bit of clean-up work, straightened the hammer out, but overall, I'm happy. I'm glad I finally had him. I know there are rumors he's even going to be squatted from the spatial range or get an update, but meh.
Oh, really? Okay.
Until I see the codex, I don't know. So
well, as long as you like the mini anyway, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it looks good, even though these old scale Terminator is a little on the small side, but he looks fine next to Logan, and it'll be fun to have him in a bodyguard, so I could have potential shenanigans of just dropping a crap load of spatial Terminators on someone, because I have so many spatial Terminators now. Seriously, I did the maths, and I have more than I thought I did.
You just have negative space, as Mr. Gruff calls. You just have a lot of everything.
It seems so, and the worrisome thing is I don't know where a lot of it came from, because the stuff I don't remember buying. I'm starting to worry it has actually taken on a life of its own, and it's just manifesting stuff. Whenever
if you don't want any undead stuff, I'll happily take it off your hands.
If I find any more, I'll keep it in mind. That's the other thing I've done. I went to a Kill Team event on Friday.
Yeah, how'd that go?
That was great fun.
Win big money.
I won my first game, but that was my first ever game of Kill Team. So the chap was running me through things. So we weren't really doing it competitively,
right?
But it was still fun. Second game, I lost, but it was a very back and forth game. It could have gone either way.
Oh, that's good. They're probably the best kind of games.
And even though I lost, I was having a ball the whole time. I took Space Marines for starter Kill Team, just to get my head around the rules, and to, Space Marines are always the easy option to learn a system with.
Sure, yeah.
And Kill Team, I think I'm kind of becoming a fan of it, because for one thing, there were a lot of people showed up for this thing. Bear in mind, it started at 2 on a Friday afternoon in a village hall that I've lived is 2.5 miles away from my house. I didn't know where this place was. But we had a lot of people turn up. I got in 2 games in the space of 5 hours, between 2 and 7 o'clock. And honestly, my games were done by 6:30. 2 games. That's actually pretty good by any stretch, to my mind.
Yeah, I hear nothing but good things about Kill Team, to be fair.
Yeah, and there were things like my Marines felt like Space Marines more than they do in 40k, if that makes sense. But that's because they have to, because they're always going to be outnumbered against every other faction, because of how the game works.
Well, apart from Custodes, right? Whether you're allowed 2 models on the table.
Yeah, they haven't put Custodes into this version of Kill Team since the first edition of Kill Team. So,
really? Okay, because I remember they were in a edition. I just didn't know which one.
Yeah, the 2018 edition had them, if I remember rightly.
Okay.
Because I have all the 2018 edition.
I imagine they just took them out because it's really hard to balance them, because it's no fun playing with 1 model on the table or 2 models. Like, where's the fun in that?
I mean, put it this way. I had a round where my my sniper, bear in mind, my eliminator sniper, he was being pelted by Nurglings who did no damage to him because they were literally slinging shit at him. And then he promptly shot one of this guy. He was playing the Galapox.
Oh yeah,
the big Nurgle infected engineering dudes.
Yeah, Gruff's got them.
So it's lots of little beasties and a few big guys. Big guys are actually quite scary. But he shot one of those big guys and blew his head up, and then basically 180'd and did the same thing to another one. And then when a Nurgling climbed up, onto the balcony to fight him, he punted him off the side.
Oh.
And it was incredibly cinematic and fun, you know?
Yeah.
So the chap who organised it, he's coming to the local monthly gaming club on Wednesday. I'm going to play him. We're going to do the Hivestorm missions or start playing through those.
Right.
So I think he's going to do the players the Tower Auxiliary wing, the best bid, and I'll run the Aquilons.
Oh, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I did enjoy it. Everyone there was great to chat to. I've had some links to their Discord, and everyone's been very friendly. It's a game that I'm now more intrigued by than I was.
That's good.
Yeah. So it feels like a game that's very. It's clearly based on being one you can play at tournaments because it's got a very high level tournament scene going at the moment. But it's also one that you can just mess around with and have fun. And the factions all feel like they have their own thing, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm quite keen, and you know, it was nice to just get games in because I've not really had a chance to game properly in. It's been hard for me the last few years getting games in, so it's nice. It's nice to be gaming again, you know.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get games in at some point in the future myself.
Yeah, and I might even get some painting done at some point. You never know.
Oh, I wish I could believe you.
Yeah. Hey, at least I've been working through my terrain backlog, so I've built like 2 48 battle zones worth of terrain. And I still have stuff to go but I want to get all of it built so that it's done, and then I can it gives me a bit of space to play with some other stuff to work with. So yeah, it's been nice to get that cleared through.
Yeah, I've been working through some of my skeleton archers for my Tomb Kings today, slowly kind of getting them painted up. I realized too late that they're assholes, and the fact that because they have an upgrade kit to make them into archers, their quivers are separate.
Yes.
So when you glue them onto their body, they become a right fucking nightmare to paint around and not get on the bones.
Yeah.
So I've that'll be for future Andy to remember not to do. But I also did the stupid thing of watching a incredibly talented man who's been collecting and making vampire counts for 22 years or something, who's got pretty much entirely customized army and a load of old minis, and I went, fuck, I'd like to do some of that. So I'm thinking about grabbing some Bretonnian stuff or Empire stuff and turning them into undead forces to make them a bit more interesting and unique.
Undead Bretts can be fun. That's one I've always wanted to do, the old Curse City of Mousillon undead Bretonnians. That's a vibe I always had liked the idea of, but just
never
never
got around to it. Somebody made is like, it's really easy to just get the maidens or any of the female characters from Bretonnia and just paint them up like a female vampire.
That's actually what I did with my original Vampire Counts army 25 years ago.
Like, you know, the newer damsel, I guess, on the unicorn you can get at the moment? She'd look really good painted up to be on a nightmare. Like with a blood chalice in her hand rather than a normal chalice.
Do you remember the original Bretonnian damsel miniature?
The one with the big head.
The one on foot.
Not the one on foot. I remember the one on horse was like side saddled.
She had a scepter raised up high, had the sword held low, and long, voluminous sleeves for her dress, and was a really nice model. But I had one of those. I replaced the head of her scepter with the metal helmed head from the Skeleton Warriors kit when they did when they released it with a metal upgrade pack to do a command unit. And I was painted her as a vampire, and she looked the part perfectly. It was great.
Yeah.
I had her. I did one of Volan's Vespero's Vendetta, the duelists from the Dogs of War army. I did one of them up as a vampire as well.
Yeah.
Just painted very pale skin. And then I had the 4th edition Vampire Count model, one with a big metal cloak that you pinned into his back. I had him as my Vampire Count. And yeah, they were a fun little... I was going full ham look, and yeah, I enjoyed it. That was fun.
It's a project that I'd like to do. I need to kind of focus on trying to finish off my Tomb Kings big box, because I've still got I've still got 3 chariots to do.
Yeah.
I've still got 4 skeleton cavalry, and then another 8 archers cavalry, and then finish off the rest of the standard cavalry. The standard archers, and then the box will be done, apart from the extra bone dragon, which I don't know what I'll do with, but I should try and figure out something more unique to do than just a standard build, because I've already done it.
I mean that should give you 2,000 points worth of stuff, shouldn't it?
No, I think the box that you get is about 1,000 something points. It's not a full 2,000, because like skeletons with spears are shit. Skeleton cavalry is shit. Chariots are kind of mid. They're not very good. Most of the good units are your constructs, which is why I bought the Tomb Scorpion, which is why I got the Necro Sphinx. And you need the Lich Priest to be able to summon them back from the dead. If you don't have them, they just die. Yeah,
don't forget to protect the Lich Priest, as I learned in my first game of Old World, where I hit my opponent with a cannonball.
Well, that as long as you have your Hierophant, the Lich Priest is just something to buff your unit rather than have the entire thing explode and degrade. That's why I have Arkan the Black on the Tomb Dragon. The Bone Dragon. He's on the Bone Dragon, so he'll be probably my main Tomb King Hierophant, as it would be classed as.
That's just being mean, Andy. That you put Arkan the Black on a Bone Dragon. That's that's doing bad things to people. That is.
He doesn't have specific rules for a Tomb King army, so it would just be a Tomb King. He just is the Arkan. He's just Arkan the Black model, and then on a Bone Dragon. But it's nice to have a second Bone Dragon to do something with. I'd probably build that one out to be the one that has the spellcaster on it, I suppose.
That's cool. See, I need to get some of I need to put an order in for some 25mm bases, because I've decided my old Empire army.
Off eBay, right, for cheaper than GW, right?
I've got a place on AliExpress that sells bags of them.
Okay. Well,
I can get like 100 for under a tenner.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna order a few job lots of different fancy battle sized bases, so 25mm squares, cavalry bases, ones for artillery, that sort of thing. Because what I figured is my old Empire army from Fancy Battle, I'm not going to touch. I'm going to leave that as is. Because I've mentioned before, I still have the 6th edition Empire and Wood Elf army boxes.
Okay. Well, unbuilt?
Yes.
Damn.
Yes. Damn. So I figured, well, it's just going to be easier if I just start from scratch.
That's one way to think of it.
Yeah. I mean, I never used any of those style of plastics in my other armies for the Empire, because my Empire army was built using the 5th edition Empire plastics and the 4th edition Empire multi-parts. So it was a much older style of Empire. And I just never got around to using any of the stuff from the 6th edition set. So I was just thinking about it. And it's like, well, I might as well just kind of start from dot and see what I can do. That might be a bit more fun, to be honest.
Man with a problem, folks. Man with a problem.
And the same thing with the Wood Elves, because the only things from that I built were all the heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is still.
So what would you do with the boxes then?
Well, once I've built them, I don't need the box anymore.
Oh, right. So when you said you'd start them again, I thought you meant you wouldn't use the boxes that you'd had. You'd just go and buy new stuff.
No.
That's what I thought you meant.
It's the same kit, so I might as well just start from scratch and use the stuff I haven't built yet to build a whole new army.
Well, yeah.
Not going to bother rebasing the old stuff, because that can still work as if I want to play a game of classic Fantasy Battle or something, you know.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
It's actually themed for that period of the Empire, whereas I can start from scratch and do something fresh and take a new run at things. So maybe use colours other than white and green.
Yeah, that's fair.
And not try painting those over a black primer.
No problems there. But we should probably wrap up the show, I think, for today, unless you got anything else.
No, this has been great fun, though. Yeah. I've enjoyed this.
Yeah,
and my apologies to the listeners if I've gotten particularly lispy.
No, you sound same as usual, I'd say. I think your microphone probably cut out the lisps, if there were any.
Well, that's helpful.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Where can people find you on the internet if you want to be found, Big D?
Oh, I am everywhere as David Kelly. You can find me with either this handsome visage or a picture of Cup. I'm on all the social feeds. That way I've not departed anywhere yet. I probably should look at doing that at some point, but a lot of my friends and family are still on some of those other platforms. So I have to stay connected. Otherwise, I am a very occasional contributor to the UKAnime.net as one of their resident mech heads. And I'm a mod for the Fluff and Hammer Discord, where I also host a show along with Mr. White, Fluff and Busters. We're going to try and do something in the next week or so, hopefully. Not sure what yet, but
I was going to ask what it was.
We're still having to think about it. I host our monthly watch along, which is coming up for this weekend, and it's going to be Star Wars themed because May 4th on Sunday, and I can't resist an opportunity. We're doing Rogue One and Star Wars on the Saturday, then Empire and Last Jedi on Bank Holiday Monday. So I thought, why not? And I host Mr. Gruff wrote me in to be a co-host on the Deeper Dive show, which is great fun. And sometimes we even stay on topic.
Yeah, no, I've been on them. That's not entirely true.
I said sometimes.
Well, you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube as Decayed Andy. I stream most days. It's a little bit more sporadic at the moment because I'm dying and tired. So, but for the most part, we're still streaming 10:15 UK time. Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast, YouTube as Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast, Twitter, Twitch, iTunes, Libsyn, all those places, ccbunker.weebly.com. We'll be back next week I guess we'll be continuing on with Transformers Prime, Big D, if you want, unless there's actually news next week, which I assume there won't be, because that's the wise thing to do. So Big D will probably be back, and we'll finish off Transformers Prime Beast Hunters.
Woohoo!
Yeah, until then, thanks everybody for coming on by, and we'll see you next time, everybody.